Well, hello everyone, and welcome for another year. We're going to be looking at the Christmas adverts. I noticed in the chat, Pharaoh, they were calling you the Michael Bublé of the Academic Agent channel. Some people were saying you're the Mariah Carey. So what would you prefer to be, the Bublé or the Carey?
I'm definitely more a Bublé fan. We call him Mickey Bubbles in our household, so yeah, definitely Mickey Bubbles.
I see. How you doing, Pharaoh? Welcome back.
Glad to be back. I mean, I am, thawed out. I'm like a niche character now that kind of gets brought in for specials. So no, but glad to be here. Glad to be streaming.
Like Rowdy Roddy Piper in 1998. Or
I was gonna try and just like make up a wrestling reference, but I just genuinely have no context. But it's exactly like that.
Yeah, or Hacksaw Jim Duggan in 2003. Do you remember him? Ho! That's like Pharaoh. That's what you are for now, Pharaoh. It pops the crowd, though. It pops the crowd when
exactly
when a big name comes back from the past. I have no Christmas cheer at all this year. I do not feel any part of it. And I've already been to a Christmas parade, Christmas carols. Fuck it all. I've had enough. I want to go and live in a lighthouse on my own.
Is your tree up? Is your tree all up on the decorations? No. This is why you have to put the tree up. And
one of the reasons is that so it's AAA's birthday in the first week of December every year.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
And that takes up all of that. So
you
know, and well, we were going to have a party in a karate. You know, AAA does karate.
Oh yes, yeah.
So we booked the dojo out but they double booked it.
Oh.
Like their belt ceremony was at the same time as we booked the party. So that fell through because obviously the belt thing had to take precedence, and that meant we ended up doing it at ours. So we had 10, like literally 10 6-year-olds, you know, all in our apartment, all at the same time, and they're old enough now. Well, they're old enough now that the parents don't, like, you know, back in the day,
they don't stay around. Yeah.
They just do the drop off and they bugger off. So it's like, oh, bloody hell. So that was, we got through it. So that's all happening. But yeah, I have zero Christmas tree. I don't know if you
get the tree up, get her to put some stuff on the tree, and the magic will appear. I'm certain of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you ever do martial arts yourself when you were younger?
I did judo. I think I got to yellow belt or the next one after that, maybe. But I did judo for a while. But no, I didn't really stick with it for long. I went to Cub Scouts. I remember the Cub Scout leader used to call me Haircut, because, you know, I've got big hair. I had big hair back then as well. And he was like, come on, Haircut, come on. Yeah, no, I didn't stick with it for long. But yeah, AAA is loving it. She loves going to karate. So, What about you? Did you do any?
I think Tang Soo Do, which is it's like the Korean karate. It's really similar. I got up to like green belt. It's all right. But I'm not very flexible. Even when I was a little kid, I wasn't just like.
Yeah, I could never do this. I could never do the splits or sit cross-legged for long. I've always been kind of quite stiff and not very agile in that manner. I mean, in terms of what I was good in rugby. Do you remember, like, there'd be the ruck and the maul in rugby? Like, you know, if I had the ball, I was quite good at, like, not being brought down and things like that, or using strength to fend off the other players and things like that. But yeah,
you'd be in the pack, you'd be in the scrum.
Well, I started out as a prop, which was ridiculous because I was actually really skinny when I was a kid, and then after a while I was moved out to the wing. I was a winger when I was a little bit older because the scrum would collapse on my side. But yeah, I was still kind of, I played football more than rugby, but I remember being good at that one aspect of rugby, which was the ruck or the maul or whatever. So,
did you say
what about you, Simon? Did you?
No martial arts. No, me and my friends would probably spend most of our time reenacting scenes from the 1975 film Operation Daybreak about the assassination of Heydrich, especially the shootout in the church at the end. That was as far as we got.
And what about you, Pharaoh? Did you do any martial arts?
I did kendo. I was on the university team actually.
Wow.
So but I'm basically, I have a huge advantage because I'm quite tall, and you can imagine the average height of other kendo players is quite small. So I had extra arm length and weight. So.
All right. Well, I'll just remind people just before we get going here, do buy courses at the academic agency. Since we got Pharaoh on, why didn't I play the old classic Foundations of Entrepreneurship?
Play it now.
Give that a roll. Where is it? If I can find it.
He has to literally dust it off.
Yeah.
Now you're turning lead into gold. The future is yours, it's waiting. Get in for the ride. The skills that you are creating cannot be denied. Foundations of entrepreneurship. This wisdom takes the context. Foundations of entrepreneurship. Let's make some money. And just as the ad finished, look who's turned up, but the international superstar himself.
Didn't know we were doing. My camera was accidentally on, but we're not doing that. How you doing?
Good. I was just saying how I have no Christmas cheer whatsoever this year. Have you got any?
No. And I was listening, and I can top your lack of Christmas cheer. I mean, my Christmases are so bleak. I almost can't even relay it because it'll just bring everyone down. But basically, everyone goes to my brother's house, and I've just given up even going to his house because it's so awful, and I just do nothing.
So what are you doing, like giving a dead leg to Tiny Tim?
I'll see my parents, but I just can't bear. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be broadcasting this. Maybe I will go. I don't know. Maybe I'll have some sort of conversion like Scrooge. But I haven't decided.
Sitting in your flat alone, eating like literally a can of Spam.
It is that bleak because
watching reruns of the Two Ronnies.
It's just so bleak because basically after years of going to my brother's house, I just said, I can't really be bothered with this anymore. He ruined my 40th birthday shouting at me about Trump, right? And then I was like, every time I go around, imagine you're an esteemed YouTuber or something, AA or whatever, you know what I mean? Like imagine, and then you go around.
I can't imagine that.
Well, I'm just giving you a hypothetical.
Yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
And then imagine you go around your brother's house Christmas and like they say, oh yeah, how you doing? And they put like a bowl on the floor and make you eat from it. Like, would you go around? I'm not saying they literally do that, but I'm saying like that's the jarring kind of disparity between who I think I am and how I'm treated when I go around.
The international superstar is disrespected, is what you're saying.
Exactly. And I'm just not treated as a basic person. I don't even need to be treated as a star. Just a basic, just a person. Anyway, sorry to crash in, and I hope people didn't see. They might have seen a weird thing on my arm because I just went for a blood test, and they might have seen that I had the little patch on my, little pad on my arm, whatever it is, the plaster thing. And I just want to say, if anyone's worried about that, I just went for a blood test because I watched the whole Fuentes Morgan interview, and it gave me AIDS. That's all that is.
I have my review of that coming out at 4 p.m. by the way, so we have to be done by 4 p.m. at the very latest.
Anyway, good to be here. Sorry to crash in, everyone, and good to see everyone again.
Before we,
I thought I was banned from these streams. I thought I was banned for too much football chat.
Not banned. If you remember, it was the contractual kind of like he wanted it. The thing is, Pharaoh, right? Like an absolute diva. He was like, "Look, I need, candy flavored popcorn on the desk. Only the blackcurrant Skittles. I need my name at the front of the Deepest Law, starring Nick Dixon."
Yeah.
Right? He was making all. Am I lying, Simon? He made all these demands backstage.
Absolutely, the rider was extensive and very firm.
Yeah, and for the listener, what that actually means is I wanted to know if I was supposed to turn up or not, and that was considered like diva behavior. Like, is this actually happening? Was considered the height of just decadence.
Anything you want to promote, Nick?
Oh, well, yeah, I've got a podcast coming out later today where I review. I mean, I don't want to clash with yours, AA, but you're reviewing it at 4. Mine will probably come out at 5 on YouTube, where I go over the Fuentes Morgan thing on my latest podcast. So check that out on my channel, Nick Dixon. And, of course, I'm on nickdixon.net for my other stuff.
You won't be able to shoe in more 90s wrestling references than I have. I've really gone to town today because...
oh, really?
I thought, well... Piers Morgan used so many underhanded heel tactics during and some of them were quite advanced as well, like kind of shockingly kind of.
Oh yeah. Like so I've got your dad's name and address, and all the bad things he said. What do you think about that? It's like okay, that's horrible. that's terrible.
Horrible.
Yeah, mine will be very different for yours because I've got my friend Paul on there, who's like my last connection to Normie World. He's still on GB News trying to hold down his job. So I'm just there to talk about Fuentes, and he's just sort of bricking it for the entire podcast because he doesn't want to seem, too out there. And I'm making the case for Fuentes. So it'll be very different from yours.
Okay. One of the interesting things that's happening at the moment is people's initial reaction and then what they say after blowback. So remember I went on that Peter McCormack show a couple of months ago.
I watched it.
Well, Bastani came out with a kind of negative review, a review on Piers Morgan's side, basically, on Twitter this was. And then McCormack followed up on that Bastani saying, I thought Piers Morgan had the better of it. Now today, possibly after like a day of backlash, McCormack is like, I watched it again. And, if you look at it with a different, so I can already see like him revising his conclusions. Basically.
Yeah, trying to work out where the vibe is. Yeah, I was shocked at Aaron's comment. He's obviously quite smart, and I thought it was comment. Also, when he said that he had a very shallow analysis where he said, Fuentes has psychological issues, got daddy issues. Fuentes always speaks very warmly about his parents, and then he said, he's been rejected by women. I'm like, I don't even think he has. I think it's just a sort of conceptual dislike of women along the lines of a sort of Schopenhauer. I think he just doesn't like sort of what they are. I don't think it's like, I've been rejected in high school.
What did Fuentes mean? That he agreed that he's an incel? Did I hear that right? He like Morgan said that, and Fuentes agreed. Like in his
but he
own
always
words.
does that.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm an asexual incel. What can I do? But at the same time, he says his DMs are full, which I'm sure they are. So he just likes to say that. It's just something he always.
Well, what incel means involuntary.
Yeah. Technically,
celibate,
he'd be a Volcel or a MGTOW or just a Catholic.
Okay.
But he likes to call himself an incel.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely
owns
you
it.
can't. Yeah, the in bit is wrong, right? Because I mean, just by being famous, you get loads of women throwing themselves at you. Surely, like,
Yeah, but he just says it as a sort of funny thing, like a kind of owning it, like Eminem in 8 Mile. Like, yeah, cool, I'm an incel, I'm racist. What you got now, sort of thing.
I see. Right.
I've
Well,
got a question.
Go on, Horace. Yeah.
I haven't ever watched this show before. Like, this is obviously a yearly thing and an institution on your channel, and I'll see how the fans react to it coming up. Like, they're really keen. But I don't know, what am I supposed to do? Do I just
What happens? Right.
I don't know either, really.
You know how we review Adam Curtis every week and use the pause function to take it, to comment.
Yeah.
It's essentially that, but we're doing it with Christmas adverts that show on the telly.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
and we've
Cool.
been. Was it the 5th year we're doing it, Farrow? 4th year?
I think it must be 5th by now, I'd say.
Oh, how time flies, eh? How we laughed, eh? Crazy times. Chimes that we have seen at midnight. Master Shallow. Right, come on, let's get on with it. Pharaoh, you have a presentation, sir.
Yeah, I've shared it. So if you want to boot it up, I'll just be really quick. So basically, I just wanted to throw this at the beginning because I think this year was really interesting for me because this was the first time I've seen in the mainstream press talking about something that we've brought up on the stream several times. That is just how diverse some of these adverts are. So it was Sarah Potchin, one of the Reform MPs, around I think it was June time this year, made a big deal out of it. Farage kind of like didn't really back her up at all about it, and it really did piss off quite a few people, interestingly. But I think it's fascinating that this is something we've identified like almost 4 years ago has finally been brought through to the mainstream. Lots of discussion about why this occurs. Just to kind of oops, skipping ahead there. Just to kind of prove it, this was actually taken from a Guardian article written attacking Potchin about it. And so just in case people are saying it's not true, it doesn't happen, this is literally, I'll link to it later. This is the Guardian article, so you can see here that, in 2021, 51% of adverts had featured black people in it. This is just blacks as well, not Asians as well. And then a decline of 2% down to 49% in 23, and the census showing the 4% of the population. So it's over a factor of 10 times more representation than there actually is. And I think there's obviously there weren't any kind of real arguments against why this is happening. And I wanted to put forward a couple of people that you might not have necessarily thought of. Now, for the first argument, I want to take you back to your childhood and the schoolyard to kind of emphasize how this kind of thing could happen. I'm going to use some language now. I apologize. It's very childish, and I've never said this before, but just to kind of emphasize like what I think's happened. Now imagine you're in the schoolyard and who's this? It's the school bully, snotty little Parvini here. Look at him.
I was
and
there.
Were you much of a bully at school?
No comment. No comment.
Yeah, no, exactly. Parv was dumping people into bins. We all know it. Anyway, he comes up to a group of kids, and he says, "If you didn't watch the Macho Man's Wedding last night, then you're gay." I have no idea what the Macho Man's Wedding is. I just asked GPT for a 90s wrestling reference that only he would know. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, he did get married, and the marriage was to Miss Elizabeth, his actual wife, on camera, and they were actually divorced, but they got married in storyline or something. And the wedding is gate crashed by Jake the Snake Roberts and the Undertaker. That's what happens. And the snake of Jake the Snake bites his arm. I remember it very well. Yeah.
Just in case that's not tragic enough, I actually had the magazine with it on the front cover. You know, when it like the WWF magazine. Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'm now remembering back to this exact period and the question of whether I did any bullying or not. I remember there was a Scouser boy in our class, and there was a period where he started getting bullied on the basis of being a Scouser. That was short-lived, but I remember it happening. I'll just say that.
Sad. Well, the bully, who's he bullying? Of course, little Marky Mark, and his mum's packed his shorts again. You know, Mark shouts out, "I'm not gay. I watched it. And so this happens across the board. So here we go. Imagine 10 school children. Here's little snotty Parvini, and here are 9 other children. And because of the social pressure, and also I think the key thing here is the decision to say whether you've watched it or not is individual. Although when you're looking at it from an analysis perspective, it's aggregated. So each one of these children have to make a decision to say whether I watched it or not, or whether you're going to get bullied by Parvini. And this poor little kid across there, he's being brave. This is probably the autist of the school here, and he doesn't care about the social pressure. And Parvini's going to get to him later. Now, I want you to change that thinking and say, if you haven't, if you don't have diverse casting in your ads, then you're Hitler instead. That's the mindset of these people. Oh, you're not diverse. You're literally Hitler. Oh, I'm not Hitler. I'm not Hitler. We're good boys here, so we do something differently. And so again, because the decision to choose whether you do diverse advertising or not is done on an individual level, and also that there's an immense social pressure, and also this kind of bullying effect that goes on. There's a much higher percentage of people that do it. So, for example, that if you think about it, individual advertisers don't think I am one of 200 other advertisers. I represent 1% of the advertising viewing.
Mhm.
Their choice is literally binary. Am I Hitler or am I not Hitler? I don't want any problems with my business, so I'm not Hitler. And so I think it's almost like a statistical anomaly because of the individual choice. But when we look at things in aggregate, and also like think of it another way, how would we stop this from happening? Say, for example, tomorrow, whatever reform came in and Pochin said, my rule is we're only having a percentage of view time based on the percentage of the population or on demographics in England. So, for example, for Black people, it would be 5%. How would you like manage that? Could you do it on 5% of an individual advert? Well, that wouldn't make any sense because these ads are only 30 seconds, 15 seconds long. That'd be like you'd have someone pop up for literally like half a second, etc. So I think that one of the reasons why it is the case is because it's a form of social bullying that goes on. The individual advertisers have that individual choice, and they don't think in aggregate; they think individually. So I think that's one of the big things that people haven't really considered, and I don't think there's really a solution to that. Now, the second thing, and this was really interesting in the article, was so this was kind of like the Guardian's rebuttal to the whole piece here. Reform MPs claim about adverts full of Black and Asian people amidst the profitability from companies, and the argument that the Guardian was taking in this article was that by including these diverse groups, they're going to increase their profits, and they had several people saying, "Yes, we saw an increase in our profits from doing that." And I think that is another interesting. It's an interesting admission from the Guardian. Because it logically implies that if you don't include diverse people in your advert, they will not buy their product from you. Now, just to kind of like show what this means in like in reality here, here's your standard, maybe your Yoruba family living in Britain. You might recognize the little girl there. Mm-hmm. There's two adverts. This is the old Boots advert from last year. Oh, look, there's a diverse person there. I'm seen. I'm finally seen. I buy because I've seen that person. Oh, here's another advert. I'm not seen. I don't buy. This is what the Guardian is literally saying with that article. They diverse people will only buy if they are seen. While conversely, here is our middle-aged single Catwoman, whatever middle-class Lib Dem voter. She sees the Boots advert. Can I get a yes queen in chat? A yes queen, and they buy. But it doesn't matter to this person. It doesn't matter who's inside there. They will always buy. And so again, people might say, "Oh, this is stereotypical to say this isn't true," but this scenario isn't true. But that is literally what the Guardian have not only stated, but they've also got proof from advertisers in
so 70% of advertising decisions are made to sell to 3% of the consumption.
It's more like there's an incentive to do that, if that makes sense. If you were to, for example, because of this case here, it doesn't matter who you put in the ads because this woman will always buy. But yes, the percentage is only 5%, or again, if you think about all ethnic minorities, larger than that. But if you put one of them in there, then there's a chance that they will buy. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's whatever a game theory thing where it's always better to put diverse people in there because they make their purchasing decisions about being seen or not, while that is not the case for white people in the UK, for example. So that's another thing that the Guardian, weirdly enough, brought up but I think that's kind of like they've exposed themselves a little bit with that. Now, the last thing I just wanted to say on this before we get started was this idea of percentage thinking, and it's like, it was interesting how Reform had pointed that out and championed that as a policy, and it's like, well, why do these guys, who I wouldn't say are particularly based, talking about this? Well, actually, it's kind of in their interest to have this kind of more percentage style thinking to advertising, because what Farage is trying to sell really is a harmonic multicultural Britain, really. And he's trying to do that by saying, let's be more representative. And I think just be careful what you wish for, because, again, something like the controversial stat, I don't want to bring up the AA spat of recent weeks, but if just think, if you do have that percentage thinking, what happens when, whatever, in 40 years' time, where the English are a minority? I don't think it's so healthy. I think a more sensible way to think about things is to have the Yoruba mindset here about being seen, and to reward friends and to punish enemies. Anyway, that was my little talk. Two things that people haven't really been talking about with this debate.
So that would require like boycotting 70% of companies, if this was the case, or if there is because what they'll typically do is they'll make it half and half, won't they? So there will be a white person.
They just have to. Yeah, exactly. They just have to have one person in there. Do you know what I'm saying? To kind of tick the box, and right. you access all of that kind of market. Again, you got to think, and like you said, the percentages are small, but I would take a 5% increase in sales for a large FMCG brand. We're talking millions of pounds here on a large above the line marketing campaign. Someone like Sainsbury's, 5% is a big swing. So you're massively incentivized, I think, because of the purchasing mindset.
What I would love to see is one company decide just not to advertise at all. An established one, a big, like, say if it's Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, etc. One of them 1 year just decides, like, we're just not going to run any ads at all, and to see if it makes any difference whatsoever. Because I remain really skeptical, but of course, because nobody ever runs that experiment, like I mean, Amazon, they hardly ever advertise, but people use them all the time. Like if Amazon didn't run a TV ad, is anybody going to suggest they're going to get a dip in sales? I'm really skeptical of the of this whole world, as I've made clear before. I'd love to see somebody do that experiment. McDonald's, this year, our advertising budget is 0. We're just not going to bother, right?
Funny you say that. Funny you say that, because their advertising budget was 0, and they've rolled out a load of AI ads. And again, like that is the new. We're not spending any money on it, really.
I just don't buy that. Like, let's pretend that KFC ran 100% white ads. You're not going to get a boycott of black people. It's just not going to happen. It's still going to be packed.
No, but again, I don't think. No, again, I'm not saying everyone thinks like that, but I'm saying from the evidence presented in the Guardian's own article, they are claiming that putting diverse people into adverts has increased the profit marginally of advertisers. Again, I'll send you the article so you can see the numbers, but that is what some of the business owners are claiming, and that's why they're saying it's worthwhile doing that. Therefore, to some degree, it implies that some diverse people will only purchase when they are seen in the advert. That's you're meant to be the realist here, AA. I mean, that's the evidence they're putting forward.
I think it's all post hoc justification for what is a semi-fraudulent industry. That's just my personal biases. I've never worked in it, but I'm just always scared, especially when it comes to really well-established brands. It's like, look, Coca-Cola can count on having a 70% market share of the beverage industry year on year on year. They've done it for 30 years straight. So really, they could run an advert of a man farting, and it still wouldn't make any difference whatsoever to their bottom line. You know what I mean? Unless they like egregiously went out of their way to insult the entire public, and that became a story. like Gillette ad from years ago or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like I'm just skeptical as to how much difference any of these campaigns actually make. But still millions upon billions of dollars and pounds are spent on it. So what do I know? But anyway, shall we make a start? Yeah, I mean, what do people think about it? Like, do you really buy that? Like what the Guardian is saying, that sticking diverse people into adverts, has a marginal increase on sales year on year? Or is this just a kind of, I mean, the first thing you're taught in statistics is that correlation does not equal cause, I mean, it could just be for a variety of factors that consumption is up this year and it was down last year or wherever else.
From their point of view, it's the best possible argument the Guardian could make. It's the most convincing one, the one that's most likely to validate the practice. But they haven't arrived at that by honest study, surely. It's just they've looked for evidence to prove what they want to say.
Well, I could just go back in the stats, and you can pick a start year and an end year. But what if the start year is some smack in the middle of COVID? Consumption was down at some point, You
just ask loads of companies, have your sales gone up, or do you believe that these, and just report on the ones that say yes. That's it.
You do get some sort of solidarity, don't you? Do you remember when Anthony Joshua got in trouble because he said only shop at black businesses, and he got in a lot of trouble? So there's sort of an element of that. So it's possible. I'm not saying it happens. It's plausible that you might get a sort of deliberate activist buying of goods.
They tried that on, didn't they? Like promote Black Business Month and stuff like that back in the height of the Summer of Love. They tried to do it for a while, but
people hated it.
It ended up getting backlash.
Yeah,
pretty severe.
Yeah, but who was the backlash from there? Look, again, I think the reality is that the lived experience for the people is that they will not go out of their way to make those decisions. But I think those groups are very switched on to who are their friends and who are their enemies, who are the brands that support them and their communities and who don't. And they will make this is my heuristic experience, like as an advertiser and in marketing, they will make themselves known, but it's not kind of like they don't think of it in terms of I'm only going to buy from these brands or not, but there's a definite draw to brands that support them and their communities in a way that you just don't see in native communities in Britain, for example.
No.
The native person will buy from any brand, and if anything, like I said, there will actually be a weird probably skew towards diverse brands because of left-wingers, basically. He'll want to. But I think that there is a split psychologically. How much does it manifest into sales? I can't say. I mean, I think ultimately you are right. The people in the Guardian article are trying to justify themselves, and they'll use whatever statistics. But I think it's having experience on the ground and from sales campaigns. It does make a difference, but marginally.
We've seen the first smatterings of it happening the other way, haven't we? With the Target, the Chuds jeans ad of Sydney Sweeney. My jean. Do you remember that jeans advert?
Yes, yeah.
Controversy. I mean, yet again, it was that bearded guy singing about the rich men of Richmond or whatever the fuck it was. I hate any time people get excited because it's always a disappointing arc. And the same thing happened with Sydney Sweeney. She's getting to the ground.
That was really interesting because their sales did actually increase off the back of it, because again, the people who they were speaking to felt seen. They were like, okay, these guys are a friend. And again, it's interesting that they were targeting the MAGA guys because I think they are more tribalistic, and you just don't have that same kind of level of tribalism in the UK, for example.
Probably the most overt example in our lifetimes was Eminem doing the old raps. Because when Eminem started becoming a rap singer, do you remember the rap singers? That is when rap really kind of broke mainstream, but it took a white guy to do it. And if you ask me, that was a hidden form of white identity politics going on there.
He was really good at it, though, wasn't he? You could
He
say
was-
he took the existing format and just improved it.
He was all right. He wasn't, you know.
One white guy has a go, and he's the best ever.
He wasn't better than Biggie or Nas or the Wu-Tang Clan. It was just that he was white, and that's why he broke through.
And to be fair, the trail had already been blazed for him by Vanilla Ice.
Oh, that was also true. That was the first go round. Anyway. So what I'm saying is that it does kind of, there is something to this idea that if you're seen, you know, you want to kind of like, I mean, I've noticed it happens in other hidden ways as well. Like, for example, the whole let's put curvy women or plus size models in the window because that's who's actually buying our clothes. So if all the women in society are like size 16, they're going to want to see size 16s in the window because, you know, they're buying from themselves. That happened for a while. I'd be interested to know if that increased sales or not.
But again, I mean, what's interesting about that, again, for example, is like, again, from a pure Machiavellian advertiser's perspective, that's what you should be doing. You should be looking and saying, who is my audience? Who am I selling to? I need to represent them in the ads, right? But what a lot of the kind of body positivity movement was about was saying, we're going to replace slim models with fat models, basically. And it doesn't matter who's actually buying our product or not. I bet, for example, like Dove was the classic example, but I do think that the average Dove purchaser was like normal BMI, not fat, if that makes sense. So there was no need for the higher.
No, I mean,
BMI.
I'm not talking about the super site like the Lizzos of this world and so on. I'm talking about like where.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like
you got to mark.
You're curvy or whatever. I still call that. I'm putting fat anything above normal BMI there, but it's I still think that Dove went above outside of their target audience to do that. You know, a better example would be someone like Giacomo. You know, your big and tall guys. Their entire brand model is we're targeting really tall people or really fat guys who don't fit in normal clothes, and they show them in the adverts. That makes sense from an advertising perspective. But the Dove stuff was more about, it's performative and it's more like what we've been talking about here. It doesn't really represent their audience at all. So
anyway, the chat is starting to riot that we haven't started yet. So the ADHD,
not my fault. Let's be fair.
Adult brain must be satiated. So let's make a start, shall we? So let us start then. I actually downloaded them in the order that you gave them to me. So the first one is McDonald's. Is that right? I think that was the last. I think because McDonald's was on Twitter, it's ended up being first in the order. That's the AI slot ad.
Yeah.
Why don't we make a start with McDonald's? And as per, if you want to pause it, say pause. Okay. Chat is betting on Horus to pause first and Nick not to pause at all. But let's see.
Most terrible time of the year. All the shops turn to mayhem. Even Santa knows space, and the tree redecorated your place. It's the most terrible time of the year. The roast turned to charcoal, and the cookies burn too. Freaking chaos, it feels like a zoo. It's the most terrible time of the year. So you flee from the madness, the lights and the cheer, and hide out in McDonald's till January's here. It's
bad advert. 0. It's just woeful.
Horrific.
Any thoughts on this, Pharaoh?
Okay, so there's a couple of things interesting here. This is the second year, and the second time a brand has used an AI ad during the Christmas period. Coke used it last year for the first time ever. I mean, I would say in terms of the shots, they're not obviously so bad that it's obviously like embarrassing for the brand, if that makes sense. But it's obvious that you have these really kind of small little vignettes that aren't really related together. Some of them sort of make sense, some of them don't. Like that woman on the tram, for example, she just kind of like she's gonna get crushed to death. You know, she gets caught. You know, she's like, that's a serious accident. It's very dark. And you can sort of see what they're trying to do here, but it's number one, it's obviously AI. But I do wonder whether they're trying to court controversy by doing this intentionally, or for two reasons. I mean, how much does it cost to do like a 30-second slot for a AAA brand? We're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds here. So if you can reduce that down to, I mean, they probably paid like an editor, like an After Effects guy for some of the overlay, etc. Maybe this ad cost £10,000 to make. It's a substantial saving, really. And to your point earlier, AA, people are going to buy in McDonald's anyway. But they just need to do something at this time. Do you know what I'm saying? The quality doesn't really have to be there. They just have to do something to put McDonald's into your head during Christmas.
I do have a
time.
problem with the basic logic of the argument and the premise, though. The idea that you would go to McDonald's to get out of the Christmas madness. It's like the ad was made by someone who's never been to a McDonald's at Christmas time before, because McDonald's is going to be a zoo. It's going to be an absolute zoo from now until middle of January, basically. I mean, it's just like hot. I mean, it's going to be, and now with the serve yourself machines and so on, it's even more zoo-like, with, girls size 16 wearing her pajamas out, it's just,
That's the whole problem with McDonald's. I always want to eat McDonald's. Basically, any given time of any day, I always want to be eating McDonald's, but I never ever do, ever, because I don't want to go in there. What McDonald's should do is do a like McDonald's Plus, where you can actually sit in there, not be stabbed, not be accosted. It's not disgusting.
Middle class McDonald's, Nick.
Yeah,
middle class.
Why not do that as a spin-off? That's a great idea.
Yeah, where you sell it at Burger King prices, or at Byron Burger or Five Guys price. It's the same stuff.
Someone seats you.
You're paying a premium to get away from just the absolute chaos that's in there. You're
like, table for one. I just want to basically scoff this down in about 2.5 minutes. And like, okay, this way, sir. Do you know what I mean? But they still have tables. They have like cutlery. Just an idea. On the advert, though, it's completely right. It's uncanny. The AI is not ready for this. It doesn't understand tone. The old people were too dark. They were like horror. So it doesn't understand a consistent tone. It's disgusting in every way. I also hate the message, even though I've outlined the most Scrooge-like miserable Christmas for myself. I still don't appreciate the message of most terrible time of the year, because it's anti-Christmas, which I don't like.
Can we scroll back to the old people eating whatever the giant face is?
Yeah, I thought it was terrible.
Oh, there we go. We get the burger view with the woman. There we go. I am the burger being devoured.
Yeah, that went suddenly like League of Gentlemen there. The other thing that was really annoying was the way they defended it. They said, "Oh, we had to write. So we've been up all night writing prompts." You're like, that's weird. It's like, imagine that being your job.
But
we've been up all
freaking
night.
chaos, and it feels like a zoo is a literal description of McDonald's. And the whole premise of the argument is that you're going to McDonald's to get away from that.
Right.
But I mean, I can guarantee you, it doesn't matter where you are in the country. If you try to, we're coming up to peak Christmas shopping season now, right? In the next couple of weekends. If you try to go to, I worked in McDonald's during that period back in my glory years. Remember 18 chicken sandwiches in 90 seconds, 5-star member staff. That is, the key will be out the door in every McDonald's in the country, pretty much. So, yeah. Anyway,
I think ultimately these guys were ultimately just trying to court controversy about the use of AI and were intentionally annoying people. And again, you got to remember, for FMCG brands like this, it's all about space in your head. When you're at the point of decision, I'm hungry, what shall I do? Shall I make my own food? No, I'll go and get some fast food. Then it's all about which brands are in your head at that point of decision, and they want to be front and center. And again, things go viral through either through love or through hate. And I think they're going for the hate angle here, where again they're just trying to get people annoyed about we're doing an AI ad, and that's how they're trying to stay in people's heads. So I think it's intentionally bad to trigger people.
For the guy in the chat, I didn't eat 18 chicken sandwiches in 90 seconds, you moron. I made them. I pressed them. I stuck the lettuce and the mayonnaise on them, stuck the buns on, and got them out. Cheese on 4. Come on, get them out. Anyway,
that's very convincing. And also for the person who said, Nick, that stuff's bad for you, I never eat it. You didn't listen. I literally never eat it, but I literally always want to. That's the situation.
Just to add in a bit on this, Hector Drummond sent me a tweet from a guy who's an ex-Hollywood guy called Rambo Van Halen, who's commented on this advert. He said it's kind of, personally, artistically, he thinks it's horrifying, although the actual advert's pretty good, because doing that kind of level of action and stunts and coordination would probably cost about 7 to 10 million, because you'd have to use unionized film people in the US. And so they probably made it for about a 10th or a 20th.
Simon, what's going on?
I don't know. Is it my mic going mad?
Something's
Hold
going
on.
crazy.
Everyone mute. Everyone mute. Hey, I will isolate.
What's going on? I've been putting
That was
together
an
that
amazing-
90s. I've been putting together
That was
90s
insane.
bangers better than Madonna, and that sounds like most of my picks. You know, some
like an
rave
alien
warehouse dance track from 1993.
I've only just noticed it come up in my cans. Hold on, I'll switch off. I'll start again.
What's going on?
That was intense. That felt like being in a McDonald's at Christmas.
Somebody asked about the McDonald's in Guildford. The McDonald's in Guildford is one of the filthiest places I have ever seen in my entire life. Last time I tried to go, and it's on the most difficult corner you can possibly imagine. And Guildford, if you've ever been there, is one of those towns where it's impossible to park. Guildford is the most nightmarish town to get to shop in, to do anything in. And it's one of those McDonald's that's like, you know, like a McDonald's at 2 a.m. where people are coming out of the clubs, right? It's like that, only in the daytime. Simon. Something has gone very odd with Simon here.
It's an amazing sound.
Okay, let's go to the next ad.
He's
here.
changed.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to him. I liked his early work. Okay, let's go to Boots.
The Snow Queen's ball. I need gifts. Mirror, mirror, where should I go? Boots, you say? Watch it there. Tough crowd again, Dave. Should be out for Christmas. Shiver me whiskers. Oh no, come back! That's 3 down. 6 to go. Oh, so much choice. Mirror. Where do I... Oh,
Can I help you? Maybe I can do the same thing.
pure catnip.
It's my favourite least powder.
Cheer up, Dave. Ooh.
Puss! Where have you been, Puss?
In boots, of course. Snowy. Just the job right, Rapunz. Nice, eh, Cinders? I nailed that. A small gift for your Madge.
Let's dance.
Don't know if I can do this year. Fuck.
It's dreadful, terrible. I hate boots now.
That
I
was
didn't
poor.
think it was- that wasn't.
I
That
was-
wasn't.
I
too
thought it was,
bad.
I thought it wasn't as bad at first because I was like, oh, I like the stocks. We should bring back the stocks, things like that. But then, and the guy, the cat at least had a sort of Cornish accent, which I sort of appreciated. But then it just got worse and worse. Pointless diversity, very conspicuous, wouldn't really be there. And then pointless sort of dancing things meant to be like kooky or fun, or it was just awful.
Okay, but hold on a second. You got to remember this is targeting a women's audience. Think about the music a second. Duran Duran's Girls on Film. That's going to be like a Gen X, maybe even like a young boomer. So again, it's kind of like a middle-aged woman. This needs to appeal to you. You got to remember.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware I'm not the target audience for most of this.
I mean, I'm
For
still
pure efficacy. I'll give you that maybe.
I'm still skeptical about the extent to which, I'm sure we mention this every single year when we do the Boots advert, Pharaoh. I am skeptical about the extent to which Boots as a company ever have to advertise, because in the history of, I mean, I've been on Earth now for 43 years, okay? And the amount of times that I've set out to go to a Boots is like, Boots is a place you pop in because it's there. Oh, I need some paracetamol, or I need to buy some shampoo or something.
No.
You know, come on, Boots is not a destination.
It's a girl shop that again, for example, like the number 7, like the makeup stuff. I think it is destination, but I think it's for like young girls, and I think it's just I think it's just a women's shop. The problem with this is that the creatives had an idea. They thought Puss in Boots. Oh my goodness, why don't we put whatever that Puss?
Oh, I get it now. Puss in Boots. I get it.
Yeah. So it's an entire advert based off one pun, but then they're like, yeah, but how do we like advertise with a cat in there? For example, I mean, one of my favorite moments is the Puss arriving in Boots, and then the black assistant appearing like one of the creepiest smiles ever around the corner. Can we just get a rewind on that little moment? Would be great, I think.
Well, where is this?
Also, is she supposed to be like a personal shopper or something? You don't get that kind of service in Boots.
Yeah, that is also true. Exactly.
Where's the little look?
On a second. There we go. This just rewind to see her appear with that smile.
She comes in there.
It's just something so sinister sliding in from the side. But the fundamental problem is like, oh, what can we do though? Because you can't do skincare or moisturizers for a cat. So then they're like, oh, let's make it fairy tale themed. So then if you go forward, then it's got your kind of like, it's now all fairy tale stuff with the various various people. But again, the selection I think is really they get a little bulldog advert for the male. This is again, it's a gifting ad. It's kind of like trying to encourage people. You can go and get 6 of your presents from a single place right here. You can look. This is, your crusty old uncle. There you go. Get him something.
Yeah.
And then you can get all your different. Let's see who are the other family members.
So you're saying that there are people in this world who say, "I'm going to go Christmas shopping at Boots specifically," rather than I'm already out
middle class AA.
I'm already out shopping, and I need to pick up my perfume or something. Therefore, I'll go to Boots.
Just look around and see how much gifting stuff is in there during Christmas time. Like razor packages, your like deodorants, etc. I mean, I love the scene because this is the kind of like the 4 people. Again, these are meant to represent people in your life. I do wonder whether this is maybe like the Puss character isn't either male or woman, so you can project yourself upon them. And again, there you go, look, like a hair curler. There you go. There's lots of those kind of like small electrical goods. I thought this was a trans person, by the way. This is the problem with all of the troons, is that any kind of mannish woman now, I just instantly assume
mannish?
is
just a girl, isn't she? Oh.
So just to give my 2 cents, well, it was quite funny when the sort of diversity arrived and the cat was shocked. I quite like that moment. But in general, obviously, Pharaoh knows far more than me, but I have written on some ads and I've actually been in one. What I noticed when writing on
international TV superstar.
Yeah, well, I hate to mention. Actually, the funnest thing was it was shot in Cape Town. That was the best thing. But anyway, enough about me. The point is, although this is also about me, but it's more relevant. The point is, having written on some ads, what the creatives always say is, so-called creatives, always like, oh, this will be hilarious, or this will be funny. And of course, with my 11 years in the trenches of stand-up comedy, I always would reply, no, it won't, because, or I can't remember if I said it out loud, but certainly I'll be thinking, well, it won't be, because they have a premise they just think will be funny, but they don't understand comedy or how it's structured. So I can totally see how they went, oh, Puss in Boots, brilliant, mate. And then they had to make the whole thing work around that centrally unfunny pun, right? Or like mildly funny, maybe for one moment. I can see what I mean, and it just doesn't work. And then they're like, "Oh, it'll be fairy tale," and then they layer these concepts on. You can just see the meetings getting more out of control, and end up with this hodgepodge.
Yeah, and again, like the dance off at the end, again, is just such a bolt on to everything. It's like, And and it'll be great. What if we had everyone dancing and they arrive? And again, that's the power of Boots.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. None of it's not coherent. I think you just need one coherent, simple idea for an advert, and that had about 16 incoherent ideas.
I didn't like it at all.
Sorry, that guy's face.
Oh,
Asian guy on the left there.
Look at this. Look
at
at
him.
this guy come in.
Soy facing. Love it.
For God's sake. Simon, what's going on with your audio?
I don't know. I've just had to rewire my entire setup, but I think it's fine now. Sorry about that, folks.
Any thoughts on this travesty?
No, not on this one. Anthropomorphic cat, sort of, with cast of fairy tale characters. No, couldn't really grasp much from that.
This is much more my wheelhouse. When it was Russian history, I was in trouble, but now it's like rubbish ads. Horace and Simon are like, they're struggling.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it's my time.
Is this guy famous? Is he that boxer from years ago? Or
He wouldn't be in a minor part in the Puss in Boots ad if he
what was his name? Amir Khan. Is this Amir Khan? I can't remember.
No,
He's not famous. This guy.
no, and that's racist.
This is like a 2-for-1 on your diversity points here, basically, isn't it? It's like the homosexual Asian. Again, just like the blowing the kiss to himself. Again, someone probably thought it was funny. I bet this advert was done in house. By the way, I would, in defense of creatives, I would say that.
Oh, not again.
Oh my God. What's going on? Yeah, go on, Pharaoh. Go on.
In defense of creatives, I would say that there are sort of two tiers. And as soon as you hear an advert being done in-house, you know it's going to be of a lower quality. And also, the hippos, the highest paid person in the office, will have more quote-unquote feedback, i.e. they will degrade your original vision more and more and more. So if it's in an agency, they tend to be higher quality, I think. But I think this is probably done in-house, and it shows.
Right, and the other thing, I'm not saying I fully understand it, but the client always seems to ruin it as well. The agency will have, here's a great idea, and it actually might be great, but then the client will go, yeah, but we need to do this, this, and this, and they completely destroy the idea. That's the other thing I've noticed.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Again, that's the highest paid person still,
Yeah.
but you got to think they actually have more influence with their own creative teams in it if you're doing it all in the brand itself. While when there's an agency, there's a bit more of a firewall, basically. Anyway,
Right.
next
We're off
slide.
to a flyer here. Let's have a look. So here's little Prajit and Abdul here, and let's see what's going on. This advert is, by the way, I don't even know what it is. Doesn't say that the title does not say what it is. So let's see.
Eddie.
Sorry, his name's Eddie. His name is Eddie, not Prajit.
Do not believe.
I've been alone with you inside my mind.
In your dreams, you've stepped on me 1,000 times.
We sometimes hear you late at night.
You snore.
Hello? Is it me you're looking for? We can see it in your smile.
I can see it in your eyes.
You're all we've ever wanted.
And my arms are open wide.
Go on,
This is
Horace.
shit. That's terrible.
Oh
That was
man.
awful.
Yeah.
Couldn't even wait till the end.
Tell me how to steal your heart.
We know just what to do. But let's start by saying.
I mean, I will say one thing, is that the little boy in this advert probably exists. Pharaoh, I think that's fair. Like on average,
100%. Yes.
this
Yeah.
boy exists. I've seen him in real life,
100%.
right? And he's probably it's not in the realms of fantasy that he'd be on his bed playing on his phone. That he'd look like this, etc.
A
So
young
this
Rishi
rings
Sunak.
like this rings a little Rishi Sunak. You know, this
Exactly.
kid exists in Britain.
Yeah.
In significant numbers as well. I'd suggest,
Exactly.
so.
His parents are like hardworking dentists. They don't spend much time with the kids, but to kind of like project their love onto him.
However, the guy in the chat who said he's me is banned. Immediately banned. You know. But anyway, let's carry on. I mean, when people say that, like, are you fucking blind? Are you like, are you stupid? Can you not tell the difference between him and me? If you, I mean, really. But anyway, let's carry on.
I'm Batman. And I'm done. Okay, yeah.
Okay, that was not a great ad.
Just to deconstruct it, the whole thing is two siblings want to play together. You've got the kind of creative young girl, and she's playing with a little Lego set, and he's literally retreating into a room with a "Do Not Disturb" sign on the front. If you go back to his the room thing at the beginning, I mean, it couldn't be more literal than that. There you go. Can you see it? Don't go into my room. You know, this is the classic teenager who doesn't want to play with the family. And what's he doing? He's just doom scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah.
But actually, it's the power
he's
of
probably,
Lego.
He's probably watching Nick Fuente. Let's be honest. Let's carry on. What's he watching? Let's see what
more
he's
like
watching.
Tate, more like
or Andrew Tate. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But anyway, and then obviously it's the power and the creativity of Lego that pulls the family together.
He's messaging some girl on Instagram saying, "Show Bob and Virgin." Sorry, I'm so sorry.
If you actually have a look, he's watching football. There is literally a football there. Can you see?
Oh yeah, true.
So,
you know, I didn't really understand the ad. Maybe I'm stupid. I think you should be able to watch an ad, not really that carefully and understand it. I didn't really get it, and at the end, he's just too spoiled. He's got like so many toys that it's kind of obscene, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot of toys. Yeah, that's a lot of toys.
Yeah, but this is why the casting is quite clever, because, like I said, this is like Lego is expensive, and this is for for rich parents who don't spend time with their kids, and so they're trying to buy the love of their children.
Yeah, no, I know someone exactly like this. I know someone who was he's an Indian guy who sort of works in finance, works really hard, huge amount of money. Exactly this person. I know this person, but isn't it still? I
know him as well. I've met this dad.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, go on.
No, this person was married to a friend of mine. So yeah, I've seen this person, but isn't it still a bit obscene at the end? Anyway, just for the average viewer like me from the north, going, I wouldn't have any of that.
I like the dad's expression just there. He's literally so shocked at his family playing together. You know, that's what Lego is. That little moment with the dad just then is do you see here? Look at the wonder on his face. This is the money shot for that advert. You could be this guy, rich Asian dad. You can buy the love of your children through product. Buy product now.
I actually didn't clock initially. Maybe I am stupid that it was all Lego, because Lego is so expansive now that it kind of goes into very non-Lego-y things. In my mind, Lego is fairly limited. It's the pirate ship was the archetypal. That was the piece de resistance when I was younger. The Lego pirate ship.
The thing is, Nick, right? Compared to when we were kids are really fucking spoiled now. Even if you don't like.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned,
your nephews are.
We had that birthday for AAA, right? They're 6 years old. Some of those parents, I'm not kidding now, gave her about 40, 50 quid's worth of stuff. And I was thinking, fucking hell. Like, you're just coming over for a party. You didn't need 50 quid's worth of stuff. You know, what am I going to do with it? A charity next week, charity shop next week, because it's like you've got this stuff cut. You literally have it coming out of your ears. I don't know about you, Pharaoh, but it's like
I mean, I live in Essex. I live in Essex, and some of the stuff that goes on for birthday parties is absolutely wild. That I've never seen before.
Yeah, my nephews and niece were basically. I got them like presents one year. I thought about it, totally nonplussed. I got them next year. I was like, okay, Argos vouchers. Come on, nothing. Then I was like, okay, money. The next year I just gave them money, but somehow that was wrong. I'm like, what do these kids want? But they got everything. What can I do?
Just going back to the ad a second, one thing that's interesting is just on how Lego has changed. Nick's right. Lego used to be about imagination and like scenes. So there's the space, castle, Knights and Dragons, for example. But all of that's flipped and it's all about brands now. Have you noticed? What this advert is doing is showcasing all the brands that Lego has. And the reason why is because when you're buying for your nephew, for example, you think, what does my nephew like? He likes Star Wars, he likes Batman, he likes Marvel. I'm going to buy one of those boxes. So this is what they're trying to do here, is to quickly showcase and say, we've got a brand that your kid loves. But again, I find it so, again, perverse and disgusting, because the Lego of the past was about imagination and creativity, about, again, those scenes. There was no branding in the castle scene, for example. It was just merely about like
so
what
good.
you can
Robin
do.
Hood.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but there's so many different angles to it, and it involved you as a child having to use your brain to come up with ideas. But now it's more about buying into a brand, but also you then have to buy sub-brand stuff. So, for example, if you buy the Marvel set, well, what you need if you're buying the heroes, you need to buy the villains. If you're buying Iron Man, you need to buy the Avengers as part of it. So as a sales technique, it's much more effective.
It's also an advertisement for the actual person that the regime wants to create, which is essentially a deracinated Indian kid who's into superhero slop, basically.
Consumer. You're 100% right.
Like a consumer stripped from his roots. You know, he's not thinking about Diwali or Hindu gods or anything like that, or the Kali Yuga. He's thinking about brands, Marvel slop. Maybe in 10 years' time, he'll be in a studio surrounded by his Star Wars products, reviewing product on YouTube. Maybe.
Yeah, and just to add to what's been said, in the past, you had your castle, you had your pirate ship, but you also had the kind of other side of Lego, which is, I'm just going to make something. And it was kind of like, right, totally creative, off-grid, I'm just going to make something from it, which was encouraged. And in a way, our decline in manufacturing has been as a run parallel to that. You would not, none of that's in this advert. It's not about constructing anything yourself, as you say. It's just about, oh, you can get Batman.
Another thing I was a little bit confused by, and also like noted, was yet another payday for Lionel Richie. So they were using isn't the song "Hello" that they're singing?
Yeah, well,
that was
go on, Horace.
Sorry, go on for it. Well, that's why that's the moment when I said this is shit. It's just suddenly we're into Lionel Richie. So hang on,
don't be dissing Lionel. My Spotify yearly thing was skewed weirdly towards Lionel Richie, because when I left GB News, I kept playing "Stuck on You" for some reason. I thought it was really funny because it was just like this fun kind of,
my God,
you know, he's
feeling
like,
deep down.
Yeah,
soul,
stuck on you,
just can't lose. Yeah.
Guess I'm on my way. It was that bit. It was like I'm leaving. Finally, I'm out of this place. And so Spotify just thinks I love Lionel Richie now.
But then when you were back on GB News the following week, there was "Mighty Glad You Stayed." Because you kind of 1 foot out the door. But
by the way, just because it's been a theme on this on the streams, my contract ended yesterday, so the gardening leave is over. I'm back in the brutal real world. It hasn't kicked in yet, the brutal real world, but I'm sort of, because my money's still there. But yeah, just to keep you updated on that. So, but that means I can say anything I want. I can do anything I want. I can do a full expose, sort of Dan Wootton style show. Tell you what people actually like. Anyway, look forward to that.
Free.
All right. Tell us what Dan Wootton's really like. No, go on. Move on.
I like that.
All right. So let's move on from this. I don't know if you have any thoughts, Simon.
I didn't get to see most of this advert because I've been rewiring my computer. But if it happens again, I'll just take I know. I'll take myself out if it happens again.
All right. Let's have another one. Oh, this is just even more depressing than usual, isn't it?
I'm loving it.
Why do we love Christmas so much?
Beach Boys, come on.
Maybe it's that everyone's a bit less grumpy.
Wouldn't count on that. You haven't met.
I was going to say that was literally AA. Let's go back a second. Literally, this is AA on the bus. God, he's disgusted at all of these happy people. I mean, to be honest with you, imagine you're on a bus and about 6 people all in star masks go around you. It looks a little bit like a weird cult.
I mean, the first thing to say is, imagine you're on a bus, Pharaoh. I haven't been on a bus for about a decade.
Okay, we get it. Okay.
Well, I mean, if you've got a car, you don't really need to go on the bus.
Why do we love Christmas so much? Maybe it's that everyone's a bit less grumpy. It's not all me, me, me. It's more us. Time isn't money anymore. It's just time. And instead of thinking what we want, we wonder what someone else might like. I think we love Christmas so much because we all want to make each other feel more loved. Even Granny Pat makes sure everyone's feeling happy. And no one's getting told off. You can get away with anything. Plus, there's always something good to eat. I think every day has a lot to learn from Christmas.
Find the value in sharing joy by donating to Lidl's Toy Bank. Lidl, more to value.
Bland and boring. I think very dull. Can we scroll back?
Downbeat
Can I make the case for it? Now I don't know if this is good or bad, but it has the Beach Boys, who are the greatest band of all time, and wouldn't it be nice? It's arguably the greatest song of all time. But whether that ruins it being in an advert or whether that makes it good, I'm not quite sure. I like the emphasis on giving for once. And also, I saw some white people in the ad. There were some white people in the advert. I'd like to see more of a focus on the birth of Christ in some of these ads. But still, I think this one was relatively wholesome. It was a little bland, as you say, but wasn't it relatively wholesome?
No, but it's cynical. Can I just say this is? I think we're sort of moving away from the woke world, which is your interracial couple are front and center, to like the strange, odd black relative as an archetype.
Well, that's been a recurring theme over the years.
How would it happen is always a problem, isn't it? Like genetically, how has that happened?
Well, again, but what I'm saying is, 3 years ago, AA, what you'd have is she would be mixed race and her family would be black and white. What they're moving to is the main quote unquote the main character will be white. But then, do you see at the dinner table they'll have a diverse person there? Yeah, or she'll have like a diverse friend, for example. So I think they're still there, but they're just playing second fiddle to the to the family. So again, you got to think back to the Hitler analogy I was giving. These guys still aren't Hitler because they've ticked the box, but they're trying to go for more of that percentage screen time thing I was talking about. In terms of diverse percentage, it's massively decreased. And
Are you saying they're gradually putting the woke away?
Well, I think we have. We've lived through the woke being put away, but this is the new post work world,
right?
Where strictly speaking, the box is being ticked, but it's still there. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's more like the old world, isn't it? Isn't that more like the 90s world? We were like, oh, okay, here's the black character. Yeah, he's going to die quite soon, but you know what I mean?
I think the paradigm itself is also different because that was about. Ebony and Ivory, aren't we all having a great time together kind of thing. I think this is a totally new thing we're observing here, which is it's kind of like a relish on the side. They're not really even engaged with. They're there to fill a percentage slot, if that makes sense. I think it's a different flavor. I mean, Nick, I know you're saying it's very wholesome in terms of like, oh, it's a time for giving, etc. But I think all of this stuff, I find when corporates do it, it's predatory and it doesn't really mean anything ultimately. Is this coming from a place of a moral place, or is this coming from we want to be seen as good? In my opinion, it's totally performative.
I would also mention that one of the things I've noticed over the years, Pharaoh, of doing these Christmas ad reviews, is that the Lidls and the Asdas of this world are slightly more working class coded. Yeah. So they message for the people who they think will actually be going there a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of their
you're right.
A little bit like this because they're, I mean, I can't remember in advertising speak, what is it, the C1s they're going for? C1, C2?
Yes, CDs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and do you know what's sinister about that is that's why there's a few white people, because no white people don't have money compared to like Indians and certain other groups. Chinese people massively outperform in terms of wages. White. We all know about the archetypal poor white working class boy now who's least likely to go into further education, etc. So therefore, Lidl, white people.
But excess Lego kids, that's the Indian dentist, son, or whatever.
This is about the depressing decline of sort of this is white poverty adverts. I've changed my mind.
I think you're right.
There's something about this year in on the website Creative Boom, which is a kind of an industry comment site, where they're talking about there's this kind of division in the ads this year. You'll see some sort of 90s nostalgiaism coming later on. But one comment that's made is that these brands, many of which are already loved and relied on, are choosing to acknowledge rather than sugarcoat the truth of the public's lived experience, tastefully highlighting the ways they can create moments of connection and utility, big and small, through products and experiences. So you see this kind of more muted world, this slightly sort of darker world in the Lidl advert. The lighting's low.
I'll believe it when we get an actual scene of somebody trying to fill up petrol in their car and talking to the guy who's just come straight off the boat, right? I think it was number 7, and he just, mumbles something back to you, barely legible. I mean, when I see that represented, I will believe that we're getting verisimilitude of the actual lived experience of Britain. The closest of which we've ever come is that JD Sports advert.
There was definitely strong visual metaphor there. The bus full of the old white guys being carted off. It was like sort of tragic lost souls being taken to Hades.
I think Simon already has something there. Can we just go back? I'm sorry. Can you just bring up that ad again? Just because just in terms of the color tones, because you've got to remember you can apply filters. You can choose what kind of lighting do you have? Is it soft? Is it harsh? Is it rich? There is a real darkness to this advert. It's very very muted. Lots of darks inside there. Can you see, like in the car, for example? Even in this like outside place, they've chosen to not have the brightness. The brightness comes from the lights, etc. This might be an artifact of them filming maybe in June or July, and so they're having to put filters on things. Anyway, so I think the aesthetics of it is very dark and quite sinister because of that. It's not really cozy, I would describe it. It's kind of depressing. Can I just say my one last thing? My favorite moment is when the two boomers meet and they kind of energize each other. There's like a little boomer energized moment. Can we just scroll back to that?
Shit.
Is it at the start?
No. I think it's later on when they take the turkey out of the oven, just before they take the turkey out of the oven. It's worth it. This actually happens in real life. This is how boomers survive. There we go. Yeah, from here. Yeah. And then
we've all seen this. Yeah, we've all seen this.
Re-energizing there. This is how they. Anyway, should we move on?
I wonder what they're saying. Did you see Candice Owens last night? Oh, it's brilliant, wasn't it?
No, they're saying another 5% on my pension. Another 5%.
It's a very telling line in there. The little girl says, "Time isn't money anymore." It's this sort of de-economized world.
That is again really interesting again, because again that's against the 80s view. It's against it's against productivity. I think it's just really interesting, but it also shows that if you can't spend your time making money anymore. This is the new Britain we're in. It's sort of anti-entrepreneurial. It's anti-success. You just sort of exist in it. You don't really make money anymore. The taxes are so high that there's no differentiation between the working class and the upper middle class anymore, because we're all being ground down to dust.
There's a sadness about this girl, isn't there? She is a melancholy character. She reminds me a little bit of Kevin from Time Bandits. Or do you ever see that film? What's it called? Submarine by Richard
Ayoade. Yes, yeah.
I mean that had the same melancholy feel, didn't it? Where it's like you get the impression that things aren't always happy in this household, or something like that.
She's very alone, isn't she? She's talking to herself, looking outside, looking for a future. This is Generation Alpha. Like the Zoomers were bad enough, like not knowing anything, but this is kind of like the hopeless generation.
She's how I feel at Christmas. It's horrible being an introverted non-normie at Christmas. She's like, oh, what are they on about? They're talking about the weather and stuff I don't understand.
It's probably AAA thinking, I want to get back on Fields of Mystery to min-max selling of eggs for mayonnaise.
No, it's not. No, she's not doing that. She's creating golden. What's it? Golden swords.
Oh yeah, golden. Yeah, what she wants to make golden swords. I'm gonna have to take that Steam deck away. That was the biggest mistake I've ever made.
Just imagine just having AA as your father, like over your shoulder, trying to min-max every second of your playtime.
But look, if you turn, if eggs sell for 20, 2 eggs sell for 40, mayonnaise sells for 90. That's a 50 profit. Anyway, let's go. Let's stop. Okay, so let's carry on.
Happy holidays, thank you. Good luck with your goose. Don't overcook it. Yes, it's all going.
Hold on, is that Jennifer Saunders?
Yes.
It is, yeah.
Oh my God, she's muscled in. For years, it's been Dawn French, and Saunders is muscled in on her.
She's wanting the money. She's wanting the big bucks from.
I think Dawn French is texting her saying like Saunders is like, look, we haven't done anything for about 10 years now. I need some money. And Dawn French is like, just do a Christmas ad.
Well, it's interesting because my wife's a big Saunders fan, so I think she has a podcast with French, and they've done the whole little books recently. So I think
have they? All right. Okay.
Yeah, but also I think again this shows which generations are getting cash. You've got to remember they're always putting in celebrities and cultural figures and music from the time period of the people they're marketing to. So again, this is popular with young boomers and Gen Xers, basically, AbFab, etc. They're the ones with cash. They're the kind of 50-something-year-olds, the grandparents with money for this kind of stuff. So again, it shows the audience that they're speaking to.
Yes, it's all going.
Can I just say, I mean, we're not doing the bingo card this year, but this character has reoccurred so often in these.
The Sleeping Lion. This is John.
Yeah.
This is John Bull. This is John Bull himself. There. The
I
lion
love that
sleeps,
trope
waiting.
of the sleeping granddad.
Yeah, it's the patriarch just worn down through nattering, and he's been henpecked the whole day. Can you see? He's been out all this morning, getting 5 minutes sleep. His vitality drained from him.
Yes, it's all going. That looks great. Tinsels, my angel, canapes, they're for guests. Oh, darling.
Why does Jennifer Saunders have a random Asian kid hanging out in a?
No, it's because again, can you see that's the wife there? Again, this is the interesting. This is the rise of the new Brahmin elite. This is the Indian at the public school. This is the
Jennifer Saunders is going to their house.
Yeah, she's the grandmother visiting her presumably her son, who's married to the Asian woman, and they've got a kid together. But again, I think this is really interesting. I think the whole Victorian middle class is being folded into whatever this new like the Brahmin overlords, basically, because that's where the wealth is. And again, this is an advert for Burberry as well. So this is again
This
upper
is
middle
Jennifer
class.
Saunders' daughter-in-law.
Yeah, that's what I
on
think.
the left. Okay. Nice house. Fair play to them.
Oh, but again, this is it. This is your kind of farm style. It's got the Smeg fridge across there. You know, this is an upper middle class household. You know, maybe the dad is like a civil servant. She is like a doctor or a consultant in a hospital. They both send their kids to private school. They live in Bucks. But
So
then
it's a pretty big house fair. It's more like Christmas with the Sunaks or something. It's just like a. Anyway, let's carry on. Yeah.
I'll have a story about this house later when we get to the Waitrose advert.
That looks great. Tinsels, my angel, canapes, they're for guests. Oh, darling. Everyone's upstairs.
He's famous, isn't he? This guy.
he's the Doctor Who guy.
Yeah, in Ncuti Gatwa.
Is he actually Doctor Who?
He was.
He was. This was Doctor Who.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just left his contract.
All right.
Oh, darling, you look gorgeous.
Sorry I'm late.
Take this in, you can take this in. Son! What is it?
Oh, pause a second, sorry. That's the only Simon.
Shit.
Here we go. That's the only Asian, or whatever, East Asian that you'll see, and the reason why is that Burberry's main audience is China now. That's where they sell over 50% of their product to.
That was someone I actually knew, and that Doctor Who guy, I don't know, but when a footballer arrives, I'm like, oh, okay. I get
Song Hoon Min. He's South Korean footballer, apparently.
Is this this girl here looks like a model? She's got
Rosie Huntington Whiteley.
Yeah, she's married to Jason Statham.
All right. Okay. So I've got to the age in life where I don't know anyone. Just like they could be extras as far as I know, but she looks. These people kind of look like they are famous.
Yes.
Okay, let's carry on. He's just woken up and I was like, what the hell's happened to my country? Who the fuck are all these people?
Good. There's a few interesting moments.
Go on, Farrow, sorry.
Well, all I was going to say is, did you see like all of the video camera stuff? That's part of the 90s nostalgia. You know, it's like VCR style footage as part of things.
Yeah.
It's a fucking abomination. It's awful. Horrible.
Do you know what? That one really annoyed me when I was like, why would Jennifer Saunders know all these people? But then suddenly on a meta level, she would actually know Doctor Who and all these famous people. So then it kind of made it, and she wouldn't know Son, but it did kind of make sense again in that way that, oh yeah, they're celebrities. That's actually true, isn't it? She wouldn't, her family actually won't be anything like that. But then if it's her celebrity mates, they would be like that.
Notice how they're selling this as an aspiration. It's aspirational to be of the set where all of your friends are like a kind of colours of Benetton advert, you know, Gap advert or something.
Yeah. And also you got to think about who's buying Burberry right now. Who are the people that are able to afford it? I just want to say just one thing on Burberry. I've noted that both Tommy Robinson and who's the Iranian anti-jihadi guy, Tousi?
Maya Tousi.
Yeah. They both wear Burberry all the time. Again, which tells you a little bit, about those 7,000s go a long way. That's all I'm saying. You're getting a lot of burbs with your 7,000s.
Do you think Burberry is still on a mission to get it away from the chav thing? Because of course
they got rid of that ages ago. But weirdly enough, I think it's sort of they're trying to get in touch with that again a little bit. If you see who they're targeting, because again, I think like the Essex audience, you're kind of only wears Essex style people. Like they like Burberry and they can afford it as well. So I think they are trying to play into it a little bit more. But also the Chinese market and also the African market is big because it's a very conspicuous luxury brand because of the check.
That advert, by the way, is called The Night Before Christmas, KIN. What's that about? Why was there a knight there?
Well, okay, because on the Burberry logo is a knight on a horse. That's the Prorsum logo that was rebrought in like 2010. Right. And so the knight is one of their figures. And also, did you see that there was a knight figure that did various hijinks? Again, it was interesting, like as a character, but I guess it's a personification of the brand. And there's a moment when the knight puts like a little party hat on the old man. So I think it's kind of like, look, Burberry brings the party back to your family.
Do you think Burberry know that a lot of people, including me watching that, wouldn't know what was being advertised?
I mean, they have little showcase shots on the bag. The thing is, AA, that you're not like in the mindset, and you wouldn't think about like when you see like a nice luxury handbag on there, like you wouldn't know what a good handbag is from a bad handbag. Like, no offense, but like
because I'm not homosexual, Barrow. Sorry,
I saw they're advertising the logo, but I don't know what the logo is. The only thing I know about Burberry is the famous, check color pattern. That's
if you go on, bring up the ad, bring up the last shot, and you'll see the knight on the horse. It's quite famous. Okay, they embroider on all of their stuff, basically.
they are just advertising the brand rather than any product, right? Because
It's
No,
they need to, like,
you can see they do
to
little
linger on the
showcases.
product for a couple of seconds.
Oh, she's
but it was
wearing
so
a Burberry
great.
top.
yeah,
she's
seen
wearing the top. There was a moment where they were really big.
Oh, he's wearing some clothes. Look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's got the check on.
They've all got Burberry. They're not going to be someone like wearing a different brand in there, are they?
It seems to be more like it's based on advertising the vibe in this advert, because they do have a sort of two-pronged ad strategy this season. If we've got the other advert, I don't know if you've got it, Ferro. There's a Wallace and Gromit one as well, which is allied with Burberry, and that's what they're flogging. So it's more for the home
Burberry
market.
handbag. Look.
Yeah, they do lots of little product zip outs. So again, if you're in the mind for again, Burberry's big for gifting as well. You got to remember. So a lot of people like upper middle class buying gifts for spouses, etc., or for themselves. So that's why they're kind of pushing like handbags, and like the check is really big at Christmas time.
I think the missus has a Burberry handbag. Now that I look at it, I think I recognise it. I think she's got one of them.
What was
Feels like more. Sorry, go on.
Go on.
I was going to say it feels more like it's just aimed at.
Sorry, there's a delay. Sorry.
You go.
Just what was Jennifer Saunders wearing around her neck? She was wearing some weird symbol, like Egyptian symbol or something. It doesn't matter.
Is that Burberry necklace? Is it?
I'm not sure. There's some like a circle with a line under it or something. It's not important. Sorry, Simon, go on.
No, I was just going to say, it just feels like it's more aimed at a kind of, the people who fetishize a sort of international party set. You've got the mix of English tradition in the house, and the diverse cast of sort of Aravisti types, supermodels and TV stars and all of that kind of glamour sort of chunked together.
I don't think I got a Burberry coat. That was a different type of coat, wasn't it? What was that coat that I got? I don't think it was
Barber.
Barber. There we go. See, even I know that.
The football.
Actually, no, I've made a mistake. It is Barber. Yeah.
The footy player Son Heung-min being there was particularly implausible. I thought. Like footballers don't mix with other celebs, particularly like nowhere near as much as they mix with each other. Like her and the Doctor Who guy being in the same place. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
but, footy players are like more masculine in it.
Yeah, sorry. Son is sort of quite childlike even for a footballer. So yeah, the idea that he could have anything to talk to Jennifer Saunders about is kind of absurd. He's just going to talk about his injury recovery and his training and his diet. It's not going to work.
The way that I don't want to bore you all, but the way that they do their marketing is that a lot of it is they choose individual celebrities who are going to be their champion in the different markets, and then they get them in all of their adverts and all of their press. So he was probably chosen for like Southeast Asia and China. And he's probably like the figurehead of Burberry in those places, and they roll him out. So I think they would consider it artistic license. They're bending the rules of the ad, but it does. I think a lot of luxury ads have this kind of disjointed feel because they are trying to target an international elite audience. It's not just UK, but what they are selling though, Burberry is selling the UK internationally. You got to remember, Chinese people love the brand because it's a slice of London in Shenzhen. So it's actually the other way around. You got to think of it. This is they're selling Saunders and the UK style Christmas to China in the
classically this is the advert I would have seen, when I'm flying to Australia on Singapore Airlines on the back of seat television, as part of the Britain kind of PR.
Yeah. Do you know what I'd have done? I'd have owned it and made a much better advert by owning this sort of incongruity of Son meeting Jennifer Saunders. I'd have people like showing up and going, "Oh, Son, the Spurs striker, what are you doing here?" I would own it and made a funny advert about how these disparate people are coming together. I think it'd be brilliant and much better than that one. Did anyone actually rate the advert?
I mean, I don't know. All of them have been awful this year.
No, it's not great, but go on.
Yeah, they've all been awful. I think the little one is the least awful, but I think they've all been terrible.
There's Coca-Cola next. Are you ready?
They used to be the king of Christmas ads.
Coca-Cola. I was in London yesterday to do a interview thing, and I noticed that almost nothing was being advertised because all of the billboards in Waterloo and in all the stations were taken up with a massive campaign against hate crime. Like every other poster in London now is about hate crime. You know,
they knew you were coming.
With stats about, you know, at this time somebody member of staff was accosted. We will have zero tolerance. Blah 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 blah. And it's like fucking hell. This like a lot of very hostile hate crime campaigning. I'm guessing that's Sadiq Khan's doing, right? Like Sadiq Khan has bought all the advertising in London.
It's the Met. I'm telling you that basically you got to treat the Met as an entirely different police force to the rest of the country. It's fascinating, but they invest very heavily in that kind of stuff. So
I'm just going to say I've had a live update from Hector Drummond. He says that McDonald's have just pulled the advert because of the backlash.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, is this AI?
This is another AI advert. They've done that again this year.
Okay, all right. Or even tells you created by Real Magic AI. Says that there.
Holidays are coming, 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 holidays are coming. 'Tis the season, watch out, look around, something's coming, coming to town. The always has something magic in the night. Can you see it shining bright? Always Coca-Cola. Holidays refreshments, what we bring. 'Tis the season, it's always a real thing. Holidays are coming, 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 holidays are coming.
So there was a kind of postmodernism about this one, wasn't there, Pharaoh? Because it was referencing a lot of their previous Christmas campaigns. It's kind of like a trawl back through some of Coca-Cola's greatest hits. However, it had the adverse effect on me because all it made me do was hate Coca-Cola. And I'm quite fond, you know, like everyone else, you kind of have a residual fondness for some of these brands, but it made me it had the opposite effect. It made me backwardsly resentful of all of the campaigns they've ever done. That's what it did to me.
I mean, I would say the Christmas ad is always kind of like a continuity ad. They've basically done the same thing. It's about transporting Coke and that bringing the cheer during Christmas time. That's the idea. But then, like you said, it's gotten weirdly self-referential where they know that it's a continuity and they're kind of referencing the other things. What was the real take on it? Oh, it was animals this year, randomly. You know, lots of different animals, but also they're strangely representing different countries. So, for example, the one that stood out to me was the panda. Like, why would you include a panda at Christmas time? Well, it's obviously to try and, again, cynically target the Chinese audience, I think. So, again, it's kind of like the animal angle is... look, you've seen some soy-facing hedgehogs. There we go.
Mm. Yeah, there was a sloth in there as well for the Brazilian market.
Yeah, everyone loves a sloth.
But then I think that's what they're trying to do. They're kind of representing, you know, the animals become like the de facto versions of us. I mean, I hated it because they used the grey squirrel, you know, instant enemy, friend enemy moment. But it references itself just too much now, doesn't it? I think it's just too weak.
The irony of the strapline, real magic.
I have a slightly more generous take. Maybe I'll shock everyone because I have so much affection for the original song. I remember seeing the first ad when that song was first unveiled, and I just checked. It was 1995, and so we'd never seen anything of this ilk before. And they had that song, and it was a brilliant Christmas ad. And they're referencing that, of course. They're retaining the song with slightly different arrangement, and they've also got the polar bears. Remember the polar bears? They're in there from a previous advert. But then they've slightly overdone it with the hedgehogs and, as you say, the panda, etc. But it's not as offensive as AI for the simple reason that animals like this would always be CGI or cartoon anyway. So you're not as annoyed when they're AI because that's just the latest technological upgrade of these kind of characters anyway. So I was slightly less offended by it than everything else we've seen. And there's no diversity unless you count, which you are saying, the diversity of the animals. So maybe.
So like 95 was when the first one of these was on, you say?
You know, the holidays are coming, that song,
yeah,
according to a quick Google, it's first aired 1995.
Sorry, I said truck there. I mean lorry, obviously.
I mean, I think this Santa at the end is pretty old, isn't it? It's like 1930s ad or something, isn't it?
95. It's about
that Santa there is
95.
original.
Sorry,
sorry, Horace. I think that Santa there is from the 30s, but I could be wrong. Carry on, Horace.
Yeah, the Santa goes way back, doesn't it? So a long way before 95. But 95 is also, I think, the last year that the pop charts were like any good at all, like any good songs. And it really like the Spice Girls arrived in 95, I think. And that was when you knew, I mean, it was the first sort of slash of the scythe, you know, they're just cutting into all good pop culture now, just going to cut it all down, replace it with complete dross. And so I wonder, like, because in 95, this advert was actually genuinely quite charming. You know, it was like, it gave you a Christmassy feeling. I think they probably timed it just right. You know, they put it on, I don't know, the 9th, whatever day people feel is the first day of Christmas, if you know what I mean. It heralds the Christmas feeling beginning. But now it just obviously seems like a very dull parody of itself, or what, I don't know what it is, the pointless repetition of what worked 30 years ago.
True. There's a lot of this, isn't there? These references to the 90s, because it's the last time society was vaguely coherent, or the early 2000s, which is a kind of sequel to the 90s. So there'll be a lot of that.
Can I just say that just one thing? I think there is a dark reading of this where, again, look at the Coca-Cola sign attracting all of the animals and rabbits to it. Is it not saying that Coca-Cola, the only human in this is the Santa Claus and the Coca-Cola? You know, they see themselves as actually human, but the rest of the world, you are the animals. Look at all these little rabbits watching the adverts, or clapping at our advertising, consuming our product here. It's literally degrading the rest of the humanity into this kind of like animalistic, guttural, non-intelligent being. You know, you are literally animals, and we are marketing to you. This is literally you. This is the most. You want to talk postmodern, self-referential here. This is all of you, masses watching our advert, watching it and consuming.
You're the sheep or you're the swine. Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Another idea that suddenly struck me is maybe it's a post-apocalyptic landscape and humans are all dead. And there's only Santa or a projection of Santa. Or maybe he survives because he's supernatural, and then just animals have survived.
I mean, to me, it's just given me an overwhelming sense that I don't want to be part of this society anymore.
Didn't you already have that already? A little bit.
No, it's intense. It
lighthouse
feels like it's intensifying it. I mean, in previous years, there's been at least one or two glimmers of warmth or comfort or something I could take from these, but this has been relentlessly grim this year. I've just, not in a good way, not like the classic JD Sports ad of a couple of years ago. You know, this is just all right. Let's carry on. Oh, that was it. That was Aldi. 10-second ad.
Sorry, I think they have like a really long storyline and they haven't wrapped it together in an ad. So apologies, I must have sent just one of them. I mean, the one thing I would say is this is our first. Do you remember the Tony Blair years Love Actually reference? There's so much like Love Actually nostalgia happening. It's genuinely really interesting, and again, this is something you called out first, was kind of like people hankering back to the Tony Blair years. You know,
wasn't there one of these last year as well? I seem to remember there was one like this last year, where they
always include the carrots. They always do the carrot, don't they?
Yeah. 2003 Love Actually, as I said, the 90s and early 2000s, just clinging on to that last semblance of normality.
Yeah, the whole thing with that advert is it's based around a sort of theme of a carrot wedding, and you know, the carrot goes on a stag do, he sort of gets trapped at the North Pole and has to make it back to his wedding in time, and it's based musically around "Love Is All Around" by Wet Wet Wet. So again, classic Gen X sort of falling in love in the 90s kind of background music.
The next advert is the John Lewis one. Isn't this usually the main event? This is usually like
it's the big one.
This is the big one, isn't it? The John Lewis. So let's have a look.
Kids, let's clear all these prezzies off the table. Oh, yep, that one too. Thank you. Oh, did I grab enough glasses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Won't you take my hand, come away, come out of the blues. Boy, everything you give, so will I give something to do. I'll take you down, deep down where the love lives. Follow me down, deep down where the love lives.
Shall I jump in first? Because I know that Simon has a deep analysis. I don't know if his
Go on.
the noise will hold out.
Yeah.
The first thing to note is interesting because this is the first like mainly androcentric advert we've seen. A main male protagonist and then a younger male one with the female figures in the background. So again, that tells you from an audience perspective as well who they're trying to target here. Guys with money, they're obviously family men. Definite Gen X vibes from this as well. You see almost like a post-Christmas scene at the beginning where most of the presents have been unwrapped. Everyone's just carrying on doing their thing. The autistic son with the headphones on, looking out to seeing if something's been noticed, and the father finds a present, obviously given by the autist, and it's a record. And again, what's on the front of the record, "Where the Love Is" or something like that. What does it say on the front? What's the name of the song?
"Where Love Lives." It's
"Where Love Lives."
Absent Limerick song. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so again, instant nostalgia, and he puts it on, and he's transported back to his youth, where he's dancing, and he's reconnecting with those memories. But then he has a moment where he sees his own son in the crowd, and it's kind of like this kind of connection, and he remembers all of the memories of his son, of him, and it's different life stages as well, going backwards. Him as a toddler, him as a baby in his arms at the same time. Then obviously they kind of return back to reality again, hug it out, and then carry on. And the tagline is whatever you what's the tagline? Sorry, can you scroll back a bit? If you don't have the words, find the gift. The most fitting tagline for autists buying presents ever. If you can't find the words, get the right gift. In my view, this is all about like nostalgia, about reliving the past versus dealing with the present. And I think obviously that the son is trying to connect with his father. There's a lot of distance in this advert. That they're not close together physically, and again, that's meant to kind of show the gap between them. But it is through the present, the father is transported to his heyday, to his youth, to those brilliant moments that he's lost through family at the same time. But in his head, where he's seeing his son, he's trying to weigh up the memory of the past with the new memories that he's had with his son. The memory of the first time the child walked, the first time he held him in his arms, and it's him choosing his son over the nostalgia. It's kind of like saying, yes, I've lost something, but I've gained something at the same time. And note how the autist has dropped his headphones. He's regained connection with his father through the power of gifts and through purchasing. There is the distance has been closed. There's smiles on their faces at the same time. And what this advert is telling us, through the power of purchasing, through the power of product, and through gift, you too can reconnect with your family and with your friends. You too can restore the relationship with your father that exists.
Can I give my take before Simon gives us the actual facts, in case it ruins my take?
Go ahead.
So I actually talked to, thanks for that, Farrell. I actually talked about this on my podcast a while ago because it was kind of trending. I actually like it. It's by far the best we've seen. Now, one, I feel a bit ashamed to be so grateful that there's actually white people in an ad in England. So that's kind of like pathetic in a way, because everyone was like, wow, John Lewis have done a normal advert. So in a way, we're sort of beggars, like, oh, thank you for our semi-normal advert. But one thing I like is that Gen X, I have friends like this in their sort of 50s. Gen X is like old now. They've done the rave scene. So it's very accurate in that way. But also, it is actually hard for men to talk to each other and think. I mean, I'm not saying that sort of talk about your feelings thing, but it is true. It's like, oh, what do you get your dad? And it's kind of, it is, you know, weird. It is, that relationship is not that different from mine with my dad, for example. So that is actually accurate. And finally, on the point you made there about he gives up, you know, he's given up this individualistic, hedonistic life for actually what is, when he sees it there in the moment, actually what's much greater is family. So isn't that like it's actually an anti-liberal sort of pro-social message? It's saying family is better than your hedonistic, selfish, individualistic, atomized pursuits. So in a way, this is probably the most sort of anti-woke or anti-prevailing ideology advert we've seen.
Just remember though, anytime anyone says something's wholesome in an advert, you got to remember they're weaponizing that sentiment to make you buy things. You just always got to remember you're right in the sense that I would rather have this than like just absolute slop. But those what they're trying to do is any fathers that are out there, I have it in the same kind of way. They're weaponizing those special moments that you've had with your own child and turning it into a purchasable moment at the same time. Well,
yeah, but that's assumed with adverts, right? I've assumed the baseline of capitalism and people are trying to sell me products.
Go on, Simon.
Sorry, was that too? I'm just silent.
I think I can actually build on what you're saying, Nick. I think you're right about the sort of the element of the wholesome being proffered. At the same time, there's a really interesting essay that was written about this by a guy called Nick Asbury, which I'll requote after this stream, and he's said a lot of it as well as Ferro has said a lot of it very well. And the point to what you're saying, Nick, is that when you look at the advert, it sort of starts off with the mum sort of taking charge. It's about this sort of female regimentation of pleasure. You know, Christmas is the middle class ritual. There's this certain sort of orderliness and, you know, compliance. And contrast with the father, he's this melancholy guy because he's reflecting on the suppression of his libidinal male energy. And that's what's kind of being hobbled into this sort of flattened kind of affect. And Nick Asbury's essay points out a lot of really interesting things, so I won't go over it too much. But one thing he mentions is, you know, when the boy's coming down the stairs, just behind him, there's an artfully placed Bauhaus poster, and you know, he speculates that the dad is in advertising, and he's sensing this sort of hollowness in his life because Bauhaus is about this kind of functionality and mass production, and the dad has been absorbed by all these sort of capital imperatives, and it's stifled and contained his energy into this mannered kind of bourgeois lifestyle, you know, where his own enjoyment is ceded to this biological reproduction, but without any kind of joy. And that's what you're kind of seeing. And it's funny because this character, this guy, he is literally a friend of mine called, not literally this actor, but I can see a friend of mine, like Nick is saying, in his 50s, children are basically nearly adult. And there's a sense of, you know, kind of anticipation of the empty nest. And at the same time, a sort of mourning for the sort of the lost, you know, kind of joys of the 90s and the rave scene. And, you know, a lot of people who are very, very engaged in that. So I think, yeah, it's what one of these adverts the BBC's talked about this year is about the crisis of masculinity. But again, it kind of plays out at the end, you know, with this male reconnection, but you're aware that they're both kind of suppressed to an extent as well.
I don't know if it's because I literally spent the week this week putting together the 90s bangers better than Madonna, and therefore have spent the week saturated in 90s dance music of various different genres. But I found this curiously affecting. And there were some quite well observed little bits, like, for example, at the start, did you notice that the mother was like, oh, come on, it's time for prezzies. Clearly he's too old for prezzies. Do you know what I mean? Like, clearly the idiom is right. Like, she's still talking to them as if they're kids. He's clearly like grown out of that in a way. I'm also interested in this scene right here because there's a suggestion that our little autist here did not actually experience the same youth as Dad.
Well, I was going to say that, you know, that was the funniest thing, seeing him in the face of crowds. That's an experience that he will never have, you know.
He never went to it. This kid never went to a rave.
Yeah,
he has lived a cloistered experience as this kid. He never. So he understands intellectually that his dad experienced this, that he didn't himself.
And this is stuff that, you know, just to go nip briefly into Adam Curtis mode, a lot of the stuff that's talked about with Burial, you know, there was this nostalgia for the rave scene that he wasn't part of, but he got secondhand through other people's recollection. And this is apparently a thing now, that there is this element of yearning out there, yearning to go back to the raves.
Yeah, they're all really interesting. The other thing as well, just a small point, is the dad is shocked to even get a gift, which is accurate as well. It's like, oh wow, someone actually got me something. Like, he can't believe it that, you know, there's actually a gift for him under the tree, which is a nice male touch. And just overall, this is much better directed and than the other ads. It's just much more coherent. It's obviously more high budget, but then again, if Coca-Cola can't match their budget or McDonald's, then come on.
I was just thinking about what Nick said there about the gift. I was just thinking, is this a sexless marriage? Probably. Most of them are.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. It's certainly we going that way.
Nobody got me a Steam Deck. I had to buy it myself.
Exactly. And the kid, he's got the headphones. He's in his own world, and he takes them off to actually connect. He's, you know, I can relate to this kid. The introverted kid with the more normie dad. I mean, that's probably like most kids in a way, isn't it? Because there's always going to be that divide. It's the best.
John Lewis, John Lewis have
cynicism.
done it again. It's the advert of the year again.
Yeah, they've done it again. Go on.
I contend the Waitrose one is pretty strong, but for a different reason, because it's kind of more manipulative in a way.
But it's the best advert we've seen so far, Simon. You'd agree?
It could also be the only one that's about white men.
Well,
It's the only one
so
that
far,
a lot
yeah.
of us can relate to, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, I can relate to this because this is about my culture. But the other ones, it's not that they're not our culture. They're not even a real culture. They're a totally made up world that only exists in adverts, whereas this world actually exists.
Okay.
That was a good
It was good. It was good. Okay, so let's carry on. Dark though. Sainsbury's.
Tastier than human beings.
By the way, automatically, I don't believe she exists.
Pink pussy hat.
This girl here would be almost certainly like Abdul or.
Oh yeah,
like,
She is
that
literally a
feels
Sainsbury's
like it.
employee.
I did a
Yeah,
whole
the
video on
actress.
this. I've got a whole video on this on my channel called "We Live in Backwards World" because she has to be depicted as this precisely because there is no such person. Because they can't say, "Oh, these are largely undocumented immigrant males." They have to say, "No, it's white blonde women that are doing your deliveries."
I mean, she
because
might
it's
work
not-
at Sainsbury's, but in real life, does she work in the office or on the till? Or something
She's
like
she's
that?
called Maggie. She works in a Sainsbury's in Glasgow. But for some
She's in-
reason, they
Right,
brought her to
yeah.
London.
She's on the diversity board. She's there. She's in HR or something. Yeah, she ain't delivering. Wouldn't even have the upper body strength.
Tastier than human beings.
Oh, puddle nuts.
BFG. We've got an unexpected guest.
Hey, Sainsbury's, can you help us?
Breadsticks.
Happy Christmas to me.
Sound of crumpets.
We need a delivery for number 53.
Yummy, yum.
Glazed gammon to 72.
Sam, I already. It's not my BFG, you know. It's not. Even this has been. It's just still. It's like it's been taken away. Anyway, sorry. Let's carry on.
Just briefly, that cozy-looking middle-class road that they filmed this on. That's Chelsea Road in Brockley, where the average house price is £1.2 million. Just saying.
I'm Turkey with trimmings for number 24.
Oh, delumptious.
Come on. Wait.
Swipe my swoggles. He's full up the shop.
Team, I've got a special delivery for you.
Have you anything to say?
Yes. For what's pudding?
Well, I never. We're on the telly bunkum box.
Come for lunch, BFG.
Well, you haven't got room for an old sage and onions like me.
It's Christmas. We'll make room. Come on then.
Want to be ready for anything this Christmas? Ask Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's.
good food for all of us.
Hate.
Shite.
Voiceover from National Treasure, Stephen Fry.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out. I started thinking about the original BFG, which came out in 1989, and watching that.
The one with David Jason, and it's the actual cartoon, and
yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, that's the one I grew up with.
Yeah, and it's got all sorts of connotations for me. I won't go into, but that's like you say, our BFG.
Why did you grow up in an orphanage and were you called Sophie as a kid and stuff like that? Or
no, it's just when I won't go into it, but when I watched it, it was unfortunately a traumatic thing happened in my life when we were watching it. But it'll always stay with me as that is our BFG, as you said. And this rounded sort of CGI BFG or whatever is not quite the same, is it?
No, magic as well.
Okay, here's my I've got an esoteric reading of this, right? Because the tagline is something like, "Oh, you can be ready for anything with Sainsbury's," but through the whole thing, the evil giant goes and eats all the food. It eats the stuff on your dinner table. But surely, is that not like a personification of a bigger force, and that is Starmer's government? With all of the tax rises, etc., he's literally stealing the food off your table. Do you know what I'm saying? That's it. The Labour government is the evil giant snatching food away from children. That's my big take on it. Because it's not like a thief is coming in and stealing one or two things. It's a metaphysic force, an existential force coming in and stealing away the food that's on your table.
Are you accusing Sainsbury's of esoteric faragism? Like low-key reform advert?
No.
I immediately agree with whatever Pharaoh said. I'm like Harry Enfield.
I will say they've done a race swap where they've replaced what would probably be a 6'5" black guy or something like that in real life with a blonde girl. So maybe.
Yeah, then you got later on you did get the black guy delivery driver. He wasn't quite right because he was smiling and sort of clean cut, and you're like, they don't look like that.
Oh, I like this. Someone in the chat said the BFG is the Boris wave, because the whole point is that there's a scene where there's a family, they've got their food across, and all of a sudden, all that food on the table instantaneously is gone. And I think that is just like such a symbol for modern Britain, basically. Just all of your dreams and futures and plans just taken. You don't even see what it is. The roof is snatched off and a giant evil hand descends down and plucks that food from you. That is modern Britain right there.
Yeah, in many ways, it was a comment on Rachel Reeves's budget.
It's funny. I took the bowl of olives that they focused on as a visual metaphor for the Sermon on the Mount of Olives, talking about the end times and the second coming.
So that was Sainsbury's. This is Tesco's. I'm gonna have to go and get a cigar in a minute. I mean, maybe we'll watch this as I get another cigar. Hold on a minute.
Hey, sorry.
I'll watch it. Go on, Horace.
Do you mind if I drop out? I said I said to myself I'd only do 2 hours.
No worries, Horace.
Good to speak to you all. Have a good one.
See you later.
See you, mate.
Merry Christmas.
It's that time of year again.
Here's the turkey.
A time for family.
What's happened?
I had an opinion. That's what happened.
It's a time for sticking with traditions.
What? What'd you forget?
Bag of nuts. Well, we can't stay long, but we just wanted to bring
to see something?
Sure. And popping next door for, well, stuff like that.
It's quite festive.
And writing Christmas cards for people you barely know.
Why are you telling people my personal business?
It's Christmas. What do you do?
He's touching me.
For getting one nice family photo.
You do a circle. It could be anything. It's a biscuit.
And spending quality time together.
Does not make this a biscuit. I drew dimples. Mum loves me more than you. What did you just say? Are you sharp? No, you're not.
Look,
Nobody even likes you.
Christmas isn't perfect, but that's what makes it Christmas.
You back, eh?
It's the birth of Jesus Christ that makes it Christmas. Where's that? Where's that in the ad? No one's saying anything, so I just want to say I hated that advert. I got so distracted by, look at that couple doesn't exist. and mixed race couples do exist, very, very small percentage, but that specific couple of that particular white girl with that black guy, just I've never seen it in my life. And then later they found the one Scottish black girl on Earth. That couple does not exist. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just
This
particularly
couple,
that woman. That just doesn't exist because he's sort of too urban. She's sort of like maybe, I don't know, too plain or something. I don't know what it is, but my brain tells me I've literally never seen that. And then they go on and you get the black Scottish girl just perched there. Like, why is she there? Your brain's trying, look there. Your brain's trying to calculate all these like genetic impossibilities or impossibilities of juxtaposition, and you're just like, oh, an advert's happened, but I couldn't even focus because my brain's going, no. Obviously, I'm racist. But the one thing I did like was the guy saying, the old bloke saying, I had an opinion. Okay, that's the one accurate thing. Is your granddad?
Yeah.
Well, God rest his soul.
Based Uncle Jeff.
Yeah,
Shout out to Based Uncle Jeff. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
The whole setup is it's a series of vignettes talking about that's what makes it Christmas. But what makes it Christmas? It's almost kind of like a subversion or a juxtaposition because it's not family, it's not coming together, it's not the gift giving, it's the moments of pain and aggravation that make it Christmas. So it has this very dark undertone. Can we just go through them one by one, AA, because you should treat them as little individual scenes. The first one is racist Uncle Jeff giving his views on the Boris wave right there. Everyone's silent at the table. You can see, that it's a blended multiracial family. And here is that evil racist bastard. Look at him. He's literally got a Richard III-esque hunchback. They've given.
How is his family even happened? Like, who's he?
Yeah.
He's like a Maori. The other guy next to him looks like Lionel Richie, as we discussed earlier. There's a black woman probably here. I'm just like, how does this family come together? It looks it's like the UN or something.
This was the first year somebody I met actually used the phrase "I live in a blended family." So yeah, it's becoming real.
It's more like in a machine blender. But I mean, this is obviously a moment. But why did I find it fascinating that Tesco chooses to focus on this? This is like, it's not just the based opinions of Uncle Jeff here, but the family. These family arguments. I have a large family, and we always argue about one thing, but it's a very unpleasant moment, and it's kind of like why are you celebrating that moment? Oh, it's what makes Christmas. It's what makes Christmas.
I hated that.
It's like a worship of hate. I think it's sort of I find this advert to be disgusting in my opinion. Can we go to the next?
Can I just quickly say what's his opinion as well? I just has me speculating. Like, all I said is on average IQ is a factor. Like, what's he said? Is it just like funny imagining what his opinion was? But sorry to interrupt.
Next vignette is forgetting the thing back for the nuts. Again, it's just like a moment of annoyance. And then, do you know what I'm saying? It's this kind of moment of realization and pain. Then it's this kind of awkward family moment where they're desperate to leave, and then the mother's making them stay to kind of show them their horrifically attired canines. What are we celebrating here? I don't understand. It's just like celebrating misery and pain.
Do you know what? A sort of meta reading in line with some of your previous readings. It's about multiculturalism. It's saying we can't get on, but we have to tolerate each other. This famous word, tolerance. We actually don't like each other. This is modern Britain, but we have to get along anyway. And the misery of it is the point.
I think that's true. Although I would say, if you look at the examples, it isn't just focused on multicultural. I think that's an element to it, but it is, for example, the forgetting the stuff is kind of like it's the miseries of life, but we need to get through it. And I think multiculturalism is a part of that. But I think it's trying to summon. It's almost like summon Mublit's spirit about this moment. We need to come together to overcome, the horrific challenges of life.
Yeah, this is a comment from one of the ad men who's observing this year's adverts, a guy from an agency called Lippincott. He said, "What struck me most was the tinge of tension and anxiety woven into the typically heartwarming stories, reflecting the functional and emotional impact of ongoing weak consumer sentiment. from Dawn French's M&S Road Rage and Asda's revival of The Grinch to the heel turn of Argos's fuzzy mascots and Lego's unrequited love anthem, the undercurrent of melancholy in many ways mirrors the sense of unease and tumult that communities and individuals are feeling around the world.
Where's that from?
It's from Creative Boom website, and it's quoting a guy called Eric Sitzlin from an agency called Lippincott. It's just a review of this year's adverts where they're sort of acknowledging there's this, dark.
It's good. I
dark
mean, thanks for bringing it in. Yeah, it because that is the theme. Everyone's anxious and miserable all the time now, and there's obviously a multitude of reasons. One is immigration and the general distrust of people when they walk around, low trust society, obviously the economy, various wars. So it's absolutely right. And what do you do? And you're in a deracinated culture that's anti-Christian, and you're trying to celebrate a Christian festival. So yeah, it's accurate.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Can we go to the next vignette? My favorite one is the charades, or this is just weird, just getting berated. Well, I guess the pain point for this was the fact being shared. I mean, this for me feels like it's like a not accurate moment. I don't know. I've never. You just take a selfie, or you just
is that Gareth Hale from Hale and Pace?
No, no.
Just look. Sorry, can I just say, can you go to the zoomed out shot there a second? Because again, just the aesthetics and the lighting in it, it's just so everything's like desaturated and drawn out.
Yeah.
This could be part of some kind of art house film. You talk about Submarine again. It is like the aesthetic visuals of an art house depressing French film or something like that. Rather,
almost David Lynch-esque, the fact, the sort of fake exaggerated smiles, but the darkness beneath.
Yeah, you've got the kind of sort of, the sort of warm but antagonistic banter in the blended family, but the White family here are shown as kind of being sort of emotionally constipated, and the wife's face is literally the agony of having to smile.
Yeah,
and there's all the hard surfaces.
It's like they've all got clinical depression. It's like that. It's like that film, The Hours, or something. Like
I want you to consider for a second this shot, and the actual purpose of this advert is to sell vol-au-vents. This is how they've chosen to go about that.
It wants to sell you an existential crisis. You then stuff your face full of vol-au-vents. There you go.
Do you have catatonic depression? You'll love vol-au-vents.
Fucking hell.
Are you smiling through heavy medication? You'll love pigs in blankets. Sorry, Karen.
This is my favorite scene. This is the kind of classic party game fight. But the best bit is actually the woman who is literally just getting turned on by the two guys fighting out the raw masculinity. Just keep going on a second. Just see the wry smile on her face. There we go. She just loved that face.
Getting off on it.
Exactly. She's never seen there's so much masculinity. Do you know what I'm saying? Those guys are probably absolute soy boys. They live their entire lives just like sucking up and just being totally effeminized, and the masculine virility is finally allowed to burst forth in a stupid argument about whether something's a biscuit or not, and then finally, she's probably the breadwinner in the family. She probably earns more, and she's finally feels something in her heart and in her soul for those men that she hasn't felt for tens of years.
It's Piers Morgan's wife. But yeah, that's what women are like. I don't know if you've ever been in an argument with a woman, guys, but I remember a woman telling me like, "Oh, at least you're angry now," like because they normally, as a man, you'd be like, "I'm going to show no emotion here and just autist this one out." But she's just like you say, she's just loving any emotion, as long as even anger, just as long as it's something. Oh, how dark is that?
The proper Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf energy.
Yeah. I had an actress say this to me once, where we're doing sort of some sort of theatre game confessional exercise, and she said, I like to make men angry because that way I get a better.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember that film Sideways, where he's been saving this kind of bottle of wine, and he ends up having it in a McDonald's paper cup at the end, completely wasted. Well, I thought I'd recreate the cigar version of that, because I have a single Cohiba Robusto in my collection of cigars here. And as you were talking about this advert, I have sparked up this Cohiba, which is, if you know anything about Cuban cigars, the best of all the Cuban cigars, the most expensive of them. And like the guy in Sideways, drinking that wine in the McDonald's or whatever. I am having this Cohiba during this really fucking depressing stream. So
Paul Giamatti, he was when we did the Lotus Eaters, who would play you in the movie. That was the one nominated for me. Admittedly, nominated by me for me. But yeah, Paul Giamatti. I'm not drinking fucking Merlot. But yeah, he drinks the really rare wine in the McDonald's or whatever.
Can you just back up a frame or two, AA, just to sort of see the wide shot with the family all watching the two guys at the board? A bit before this, I think.
I've met Giamatti, and it was as awkward as you'd expect.
Where is it? That one.
There
Oh,
you go.
yeah.
You
Do
just
with
get
the
it.
yeah. So you've got sort of the random Middle Eastern guy on the right of the screen at the end of the sofa, but there you've got Gramps again. You know, he's ever the demoralized witness, sort of stuck in mute horror, like the old man in the Burberry advert. The old guy is just catatonic with depression.
Also, I want to talk about the aesthetics of this shot as well. As is brilliant because this is, I would say, a traditional upper middle class family. Because look at the window sizes, for example, or the jacquard, curtains, the art on the wall. You know, this is a very specific kind of family that has had wealth in the past. But you can tell that things. This is decor from the 80s. You know, this or maybe 90s. You'd have like the kind of Lux cottage, but it hasn't moved on from there. It's been preserved in time because, again, just as the values and the colors have faded out of this picture, so has the meaning and life of this family been crushed into nothing. That they've been sort of so debased that all that's been left is two people, you know, their kids fighting, and the father looks on. You can see his lip poking out, just thinking, "What the fuck happened to my life? You know, where did it all go wrong? Like, how did I lose everything? It all slipped through my hands."
Brilliant analysis. And also, they're so middle class. They've invited the delivery driver in to sit with them. This bloke, because what is he doing there? Like,
He's not. That's the wife's boyfriend, you see, and she's finally.
Oh,
you know.
I mean,
And they're so drained of ideas.
I mean, it's so incongruous.
Are you guys basically saying that Sainsbury's advert is like a Ken Loach masterpiece, like a Lynchian horror masterpiece?
No, Loach would celebrate it because he's a left. It's more
Dogma
like
95 as Christmas.
Yeah, it's more like the decline of the normative, you know, white Christian British family.
And the Christmas game is a kind of like, you know, they've literally resorted to a whiteboard presentation type approach to summon joy.
Yeah, and that reminds me of the old. That's the old win. Remember Win, Lose or Draw with Bob? I've worked with him a few times. I've forgotten his name suddenly. Do you remember AA? You remember that the game show?
Yeah, Win, Lose or Draw.
Yeah. Do you not remember
it? Which one was that? Was that the 5? No, that was the Dusty Bin one. That's not that. That's not the same one.
Bob Mills. Bob Mills. I've worked with him loads of times. It was presented by Bob Mills. It was also presented by Danny Baker, apparently, and Shane Ritchie and Darren Day. Anyway, there's like a game show, daytime TV game show. Anyway, that just reminded me of that. A little bit of nostalgia for that as well in there. And even that type of game has a kind of nostalgia because who's playing this type of game now in reality?
I mean, again, just look at this shot and consider you're trying to sell vol-au-vents at Sainsbury's. This is the way that they've gone about it.
This is when you get a director who wants to sort of do some great work, and they're like, "Well, we're just trying to sell like pigs in blankets." Like, no.
You should note who directed this, and to see if he goes on to do something. Maybe this is like the, you know, early Shane Meadows or something.
Well, I've known ad directors, and they often come from film school. They were not setting out to sell vol-au-vents. You know what I mean? They thought they were going to be the next David Lynch.
Anything else on this? Fucking hell, that was depressing. And I was sorry, it was not Sainsbury's, it was Tesco's. It was Tesco's advert. Yeah, okay.
Still better than that Sainsbury's advert, though. Sorry.
It's got a sort of celebration parallax theme to it. You know, it's like Christmas isn't bad. It's just different to what you thought. I mean, that was last year's sentiment. But this year, it's like, okay, Christmas is bad, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, isn't that so weird? The most terrible time of the year, McDonald's say. Tesco say it's about horrific arguments. I'm like, hang on, can we actually have any positive? John Lewis, head and shoulders above the rest, and the only one with a quasi-positive message.
Well, this is the mood of Keir Starmer's Britain, Nick. This is what they're kind of like trying to get over.
Christmas is cancelled. There's no COVID. I just wanted to.
Exactly.
I like that as a concept. Whatever Starmer aesthetics, you know, he is the robot man. He is the dreamless man. He has no loves. He has no hates. He just exists. And it's sort of a similar Britain we're living in. The desaturated, the devalued, the debased Britain. Nothing has meaning anymore. We are all just automatons living through, going through the motions.
And it is a kind of Starmerite prospectus, actually, because I looked, there was a series of films that they did. We hadn't seen all of them, but there were the titles of the various vignette films they did are very telling. If you look at them as a kind of manual for living in Starmer's Britain, the titles of these: Regress into Your Childhood Self was one film. Realizing That You're Home is another film. Buying Gifts for Colleagues. Making an Effort. Telling Everyone Everything. Being Neighborly. And Pointless Disagreements.
Brilliant. So
I got distracted looking at the chat. I thought Horace was now commenting on the video. I thought that's a bit eccentric to leave and then comment. Go on.
This video stars Mariah Carey. She is 56 years old, just FYI.
Halloween slate, but now it's time. Spill the tea. Who's the thief?
Busted! Bad news, Mariah Carey. The elves are striking this year. Elf revenge for putting us through holiday hell. Santa's helper quit. I'm pawning all this so I can afford elf therapy.
That's my blush, elf boy.
Your lipstick? I'm taking it. Christmas, it's canceled. No bells, no cheer, no glam. Bye, sweetie.
Look, the Keir Starmer Christmas, even in Mariah Carey's advert.
You can't cancel Christmas.
Any last words?
Yeah.
Can we not?
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Don't care.
Oh, I'm a snowman now. Great.
Underneath the Christmas tree, I don't need to hang my stocking.
It's still sad though, isn't it? They're having to draw on the memory of a Mariah Carey #1 from 20 odd years ago to try to recapture some excitement for Christmas.
Oh.
And even within the advert, it's undercut by a miserable elf who's striking.
We're served up this just thin cultural pottage, just absolutely nutritionless.
Is that the end? Is that the end of the advert?
That's it. That's the whole advert.
Oh, I didn't get it at all. But yeah, it's 1994, and it's the Coke advert harked back to 95. That song was released 94. Great song.
It's 31 years ago.
Shocking, isn't it? And by the way, how much exposition in that advert? It's like it just started. The elf explained the whole thing like it was the end of a 1940s film noir. He just explained. Show don't tell. Didn't get the memo there. It was just let me explain this whole thing to you, and there wasn't actually any action at all. It was just an explanation. It was like the blueprint of an advert.
It's kind of gay elf in labour dispute.
The thing is that the whole Mariah Carey thing, it basically became a meme like 10 years ago, where like a Mariah whatever being thawed out, being unfrozen, and then her song playing is the beginning of Christmas. But then again, to AA, your little postmodern point again, it's become almost so self-referential. It's gone up its own arsehole, I think. It's just weird and terrible. Mariah should never be given lines. That was some of the worst acting I've seen so far. Some of the dullest, most flavorless acting I think I've ever seen on TV. Didn't make any sense. Terrible. We should just move on.
Yeah. There could have been an advert with Mariah, but it would have to be something about like she's trying to resurrect Christmas or something, which is actually what they're trying to do. Again, I would sort of foreground that and just own it. Anyway.
Let's carry on.
Terrible.
Argos now. Right. I should say the Cohiba is a lot smoother than your average cigar, so I can understand, some part of its price tag, but it's still overrated for me. Still overrated. Let's carry on.
Just need to buy my sister's gift. Argos? They only sell toys.
That's the In-Betweeners guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Simon Bird. Yeah.
Weird to see him as an adult man.
As an adult, yeah.
Look who's on the naughty list. drive.
Time we taught you a lesson.
Oh, no.
Eyes on the road.
Pull in here.
Someone's gonna get what they deserve.
Big time. Please. I have a family.
Then they'll love this.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go.
Perfect. Nope.
Now do you believe?
There is more to Argos.
Oh, wow. Since when did you have taste?
Hey, I've always had some help.
Oh, they're good. Can you hear me?
Wow, what a strange ending.
The context of this is that the little creatures have been in the last 3 years worth of Argos ads. So again, they're trying to sort of establish a world or a universe, and that the idea is that, you know, Argos isn't just for toys. So traditionally, Argos has done quite well at Christmas time. They're a big gifting company. But what they're trying to do is to branch out into different areas. Note the just like Boots had done, small electrical items like the hair spinners, whatever they're called, hair curlers, the coffee thing. This is all about showcasing range of product and to say we're not just about something. You know, we're not just about toys. And again, it's that juxtaposition of creepy toy kidnaps man. But actually, it's okay. You know, they're not there to kill him. They're there to kind of show all the kind of good stuff they can do. I mean, for me, I get the concept is actually right, because again, it's trying to answer a specific business problem, which is people only buy toys at Argos, and they're trying to. It's like an upsell. It's a classic upsell or side sell. But again, I think the execution doesn't really work. Are they really using Simon Bird to his full potential? I think no.
Well, I was thinking, Farah, do you think Simon Bird wrestled with himself? It's like, Simon, okay, we want you to soy face at a range of product in an Argos warehouse. And he's like, fucking hell, is this where my life has got to? How much are we talking?
Been a long time since you've seen it, Simon.
This is it exactly. I think he sold out literally. He said he's done nothing good since the In-Betweeners. Let's be honest.
Well, isn't the In-Betweeners back out? I think it's coming back out, which is probably why he's in this advert. It's like, right,
maybe get
Simon, we need you to do this advert to get your face back out there when In-Betweeners comes back out in Q1 2026.
Yes, just one last job.
Oh god, yeah. Well, they keep pulling me back in. Yeah, small point, but because I'm obsessed with this diversity in ads. The evil white Aryan puppet woman, she's there being evil because she's white. Then he looks through the window at some black people and says, "Help me."
Yeah.
Did you notice that bit?
And the kid goes, "No."
I don't know. I think
to
be fair, that was
That's
like
in the
midway
advert.
through. To be fair though, like it's got the full white family at the end.
Oh yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, he says, "Help me," and looks towards them because I'm being an Aryan white woman puppet is attacking.
You're on your own, Whitey. Yeah.
And the crocodile coded.
No, I don't think there's that. I don't think this is that racial. If I'm honest with you, and again, I think if you look at the rest of the family, they don't even have like the random person in the corner who's not talking, like I mentioned as the new archetype. This is just a pretty standard advert, I think.
Some things I noticed about it. No, never.
Go on.
Never mind.
Simon actually isn't. If you do check that part of Wikipedia, he's not though. That's the famous thing.
He had, he had a TV show. I watched it. It was called Friday Night Dinners or whatever. And in that show,
because none of the guys in
that
Friday
show,
Night Dinner are Jewish though. That's the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, all right. I'm gonna go Friday Night Dinner. I thought the whole thing was that he was.
It is. It's a Jewish family, but none of the actors are Jewish. I thought that was the.
What? Why would they do that? That's strange. That's a very strange casting decision.
I can't
find out
comment on
George
the casting.
Costanza, well, he's Italian in that, so.
Just another little nod to the John Lewis advert though, with the headphones. You know, she's putting the headphones on, the mother here. You know, people drowning out the misery of Christmas.
Oh, also, I just got to admire Simon Bird's pose there. I mean, that's just the most ridiculously camp pose, in my opinion, of all time.
No, so I'm going to go back to it. Tamsin Greig isn't Tam's in. She was
Okay.
in Friday Night Dinners.
Yeah.
She's not.
I remember reading an article saying that all of them weren't. I definitely know that the dad wasn't.
Tom
and the two boys weren't.
Rosenthal.
Supposedly not. That's again.
I've done a gig with him. Just a blast from the past came into my head.
But don't you remember Ronnie Rosenthal? He played for Israel.
I remember he hit he missed that famous chance, didn't he? Easiest chance ever, hit the crossbar.
I'm dubious about that because I distinctly remember watching that show. But anyway, okay. Let's carry on. Oh man, Christmas Delivered. I don't even know who this is by.
You like Jake's mum's cooking so much, then surely not yet.
Too soon? Never!
Wow, okay, I'm in a shoot.
Hold on a second. Is that the one who was being served pies and cakes a couple of years back?
Yes, it is.
Do you remember her?
Yeah.
There she is. Okay, she's been reduced this year, clearly.
No, it's different. Sorry, she's different. That's Love.
She's off morning telly, isn't she?
She no.
Is it Lisa?
They're similar. I think that's Tony Love.
Wow, okay, I'm in a
Of course, to you bigots, they all look the same. Whereas I of course, I thought I could have swore that's the same.
No,
woman.
it's different. It's different.
So you're
How many
wrong as
slots?
well.
How many? I mean, come on. In current British television, there's more than one slot for the Lizzo archetype. Is that what you're saying?
Also, just
Hello, sweetheart.
Come on, Christmas, let's have it!
You're all right.
You recognize him, Nick?
Oh, sorry, I zoned out. I was just wondering if I thought it was that woman just on a Zempic is what I was thinking. Yeah, there's Crouchy.
Crouch has to be one of the most
You're all right.
footballers of all time. I see him in ads all the effing time. Literally, he will do anything for a buck. The man will literally. It's just an embarrassment at this point. He's just such a sellout.
I mean, to be fair, if you're like a not that good footballer from 15 years ago, you don't see Carlton Palmer doing ads like this. So, to be fair to Peter Crouch, he's doing all right.
Is that Samantha Morton?
It's not respectable. It's not not respectable though. AA. I'm sorry. I'm not having that.
I don't recognise white people either.
He Crouch should have like a podcast or some kind of analysis show or something respectable, not selling himself.
He does punditry.
Yeah, well, exactly. But you know what I'm saying? Just retire with grace is what I'm trying to say, rather than like just constantly squeeze the last vestige
It'll be a massive
of
payday for Peter Crouch.
I know exactly. It's because you're thinking about the money. Like, it's about respect as well. I don't know. What is he? He's going to do this when he's 90. He's going to be an old granddad still doing his
like do
robot dance.
one Christmas advert for Debenhams, or have to do like 52 shows with Jason Ewell on like the Fortunes in Nottingham Forest or something.
He was kind of he was sort of a brand and a meme even in his career, wasn't he? He was very tall and he could do the robot dance.
He did the robot,
yeah,
exactly.
And that was much more known than his actual ability, even though he did start for England, but yeah, he was much more known for that even then.
Now I'm interested. Does Jason Ewell have a podcast? I'm going to look this up. Do you remember Jason Ewell? He played for Wimbledon. Let's have a look. Does Jason Ewell have a podcast? Yes.
With old football references.
Jason Ewell does the Preston North End podcast. Episode 37.
This is it. He's retired with grace. Retired with grace.
Oh my God. The Danny Baker Show with Teddy Sheringham and Jason Ewell. There we go. This is so even Jason Ewell gets a bit of that pie. All right, let's carry on.
Christmas delivered. Debenhams.com.
Shite.
I have no idea what that was about.
The whole thing is, it's just like a middle-aged woman. Again, she's all alone by herself. She's depressed. She sees like a happy man. There's a happy family father, who is setting up his Christmas lights. Can you go to that beginning shot, AA? Sorry.
Okay.
Not the depressed white woman at Christmas. That's been the theme, isn't it?
That's true. Actually, that is quite a good.
You like Jake's mum's cooking so much, then.
Yeah, can we see the happy? I want to see the man though. Look at him. She's obviously like upper middle class, and she's seen this lower middle class. Look at him. He's just loving life. He's got a family. He is just embracing the Christmas spirit here across there. He's just joyful, and she just is just miserable and hateful. Surely not yet. Look at that horrible woman. But what does cheer her up? Of course, it's not the family aspect or the ornamental celebrations. It is a parade of goods. All of a sudden, her attention is paid by lipsticks and giant shoes and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like it is the kind of commercial and consumer aspect of it.
I also need to set the record straight. Jason Ewell, he is not a podcaster. He is currently the assistant head coach of Cambridge United, who occasionally pops up to do media appearances. So
respectable.
He stayed in the game as a coach. Yeah. Shall we move on to a different advert? Okay.
That was rubbish.
Oh, here we go. Feet Dawn French. They've made Dawn French a feetlet.
Driving home for Christmas. Yeah. I can't wait to see.
Oh, how long have we been here?
Oh, I know. Ooh, hang on, Frenchie. And...
Is Dawn French on like a 20-year slave contract to M&S? She just does these every year now.
She's done the last 3 years, and the first one was just her voice. But yeah, she did a similar kind of shtick last year with Dawn French, secret glutton kind of act.
I remember it. She's been. Go on, Nick. Go on.
No, I was going to say I like the Chris Rea element because I only found out yesterday he was still alive. I'd convinced myself he was dead, but he had a life-saving operation in 1994. So I was so relieved that Chris Rea was alive. Yes, this happened just yesterday. Bit of trivia for you.
Is he the guy who did The Road to Hell?
Yeah, and Driving Home for Christmas and Julia, about his daughter. It was quite a wholesome stuff.
And... here we go.
I'm coming, Cannabase! Sorry. Ow!
Now, presumably that was a CG Dawn French or a stunt woman. She didn't actually do that stunt.
She's like Tom Cruise. She insists on doing all her own stunts.
Oh, fairy, yes, please.
We're closed.
Really?
We're open! Apparently.
Oh, look at these lovely prawny things.
They're M&S Black Tiger Prawn Paella Bites.
Just help yourself if you'd like to. That's it.
Now, I should say we're almost 3 hours in here, and this is the first actual product that we've really been featured. A lot of the other supermarket adverts are very high concept, but this is actually like, yep, we are actually selling vol au vents, and prawn things.
And just let me quickly correct the chat because someone said Josephine, not Julia. No, there's a song called Josephine and a different song called Julia. Don't challenge me on music, you know what I mean? Like I've listened to the song Julia recently. People telling me it doesn't exist. Sorry.
I can't wait for you to critique 90s bangers better than Madonna, Nick, because Rock has given that playlist 9.7 out of 10, and Grok assures me it is the best 90s playlist ever committed to the internet. So we'll see how it actually goes when it goes out.
But is that a stream that or I'm supposed to respond to your very
no? I drop
video.
them one a day, so it's going to take 100 days to come out. But eventually you'll see it in its totality.
Ooh, fish chips and peas. Overkill. Do you have any fondue? No, Twinkle.
But
But I do have this delicious, pork and mushroom pate by Tom Kerridge.
World's gone mad. This is not just food. This is M&S Christmas food.
Now, was the guy was he famous? This guy here?
That was Tom Kerridge, the chef who makes
That is
pate.
Tom Kerridge, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Do
you
remember there was that cover of Mad World by Gary Jules in about 1996? I thought it was him. I thought, is it Gary Jules of Mad World fame brought in for this one line?
Yeah, that would be
Because he's
insane.
saying the world's gone mad, you see. So
Mad. This is not
Can
just
I just,
food. This is.
There you go.
go on, Farron.
Just that again, the repeated theme of Starmer's Britain. What's happening here? It's almost like a limbo-like state, right? It's dark. It's not only dark; there's a kind of a mist to it, it's sort of transporting us into this other world, this third realm we're all occupying. But rather than getting to our destination in life, we're all in a massive traffic jam that has no end. Notice that there are no other. This isn't a dual carriageway. This is just one row of cars going into the distance,
Yeah.
And this is kind of like symbolic for life. We're all just stuck here. We're all stuck next to each other. We want to be moving forward, but we can't. And you've got two choices. You can see at the start, Dawn, she goes a little bit crazy in her car. She tries to cope with it, and she has a little miniature breakdown. So what M&S is saying is, look, you can deal with being stuck in Starmer's Britain by just going crazy, or you can find self-actualization through and community through the power of food. Because look, everyone's just individual, everyone's stuck by themselves, living through this personal hell. But all of a sudden, what happens? The doors of the M&S food van open. Now, I would just like to say that was the fastest I think I've ever seen Dawn French move. Was as soon as the doors open, she's drawn like a magnet to that food. But then, interestingly, she becomes host to everyone else, doesn't she? And all the other people stuck around her come with her. And again, it's not even her family. These are just random people. And again, this is going back to some of the points around coping in the multicultural world that some of the other guys mentioned beforehand. Can we just go back to a shot of all the different people sort of crowded around her? It's this kind of like there's something massy about the people in there. Yeah, there you go, like that shot. There's something cramped and massy, and we're all stuck in this tiny place together. None of us are related. None of us have anything that kind of binds us together. But you know what does keep us together? Food. Delicious consummation is the only thing that can bring us together.
It's Starmer's Islands of Strangers speech come to life.
This is actually this is the Island of Strangers. Look at that. The
guy with the
on
beard
one
is
side.
like, I don't even know who this girl is. She's not my daughter. I've just kind of, just met her.
just lifted them up. Just lifted them up. All united, all coping. Again, but the thing is, ultimately, it is a cope. The van doesn't move. That they're all just sort of trying to deal with the moment and having been forced together through consummation. But the wise gammon at the end, the wise old gammon, zooming in, he doesn't leave his car. He uses binoculars to see and just says, "The world's gone mad." That's it. And that's right. Thank you. The world's gone mad. This is us. We are the gammon in the car, zooming out from using our binoculars to see this mad world.
At the start of the advert, Dawn French is almost. Do you remember that film Falling Down with Michael Douglas?
Remember it? Yeah. I live it every day.
I mean, she is on the cusp of falling down at the start of the advert.
Bad guy.
Yeah, she's on the cusp of it, and then bang, she's saved by the fairy who gives her the. We haven't even finished it. We got up to old Tom Kerridge here. So
mad. This is not just food. This is M&S Christmas food.
Today we're looking at the brand new Marks and Spencer.
Oh, there we go.
It was finished, yeah.
Some wag in the chat said those cars, those are that's the road to Piers Morgan's wife. I thought that was quite a witty topical joke in the chat. All right, let's carry on. Morrison's. I want to at least get to JD Sports. So I assume they have an advert. So.
Yes, yeah. The Christmas classic.
Merry Christmas!
Knowledge.
It's an odd request for August, but I'm here for it. Here's a Christmas banger.
I'll just leave that over by the tree, thanks.
I got one of whales. Big tractor.
You've got that right with you, man. What did you come as?
I'm a pickle.
Respect.
At Morrison's, we've been growing, making, baking and crafting for your Christmas all year long.
Merry Christmas. Shall I pop this down here then? Yeah, just here's fine, pal. I'll get the rest.
Morrison's, making more of Christmas.
What was the awkwardness about? I don't really get that.
I didn't understand either.
Why was it weird that he? Why was this a weird?
Maybe because he
moment?
was being so chirpy about things.
It's like I
Look-
didn't
look
get the
look how
memo,
happy.
Morrison's. This is the
Yeah.
depressing Keir Starmer Christmas. So
Yeah, exactly.
what are you doing, mate? This is
Like Nick said, what you normally get is what I normally, whenever it happens for me, you'll get your boxes on the floor, and the guy who's doing the delivery is sort of milling around his van, scowling. Maybe it's the surprise of a native person doing the delivery.
He's legally allowed to work in the UK. I didn't understand this advert at all. But again, I was sort of half. I mean, I should be able to watch an ad on sort of very low concentration levels and still understand it, but I didn't.
The point of it is that
Why does the
Christmas
guy say
doesn't
Happy
begin.
Christmas back? Sorry.
No, but the point is it's not Christmas begins throughout the year. So you can see this is obviously harvest time here. He's done the baling, and this is meant. I think this is meant to represent the flour that then goes into the bakery. Not that a farmer would just be like carrying bags of flour around his farm. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think as a device they've had to do that. But the point of it is, and then it goes through to the boat, and then Halloween. So again, it's
Right.
about Christmas is all year round, leading up to that one delivery and that
so
one
it's
moment
not
for you.
Christmas is the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like Christmas is made throughout the year. I think what's the title of the video again? Because I think they sort of reference that in the title.
It's called A Year in the Making. Morrison.
Yeah, a year. There we go. A year in the making. So again, it's about
Clear.
No,
all that was
I
clear was
don't
that
think
they were trying to borrow from the prestige and aura of Clarkson's farm. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
There's a
that-
little bit of an added industry in joke, that everybody shoots their ads actually in the summer.
What was that fishing film from a couple of years back that people liked?
Oh.
Remember?
Jaws.
No.
Not Jaws. There was it was like a black and white.
It was one that
film,
Morgoth
you know?
talked about, didn't he?
Yeah, in like a fish. This is like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah, it was old blokes fishing with jumpers. If it's the same one,
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Baked, I think it's called.
It didn't work because audiences are not sophisticated enough to understand this, and this panel is the most sophisticated audience imaginable for any advert, and it's just like it's too confusing because it's literally Christmas time now, so we can't pick up on the cues that it's not Christmas.
But
That's too much for us.
what's it
to take
celebrating?
in.
It's like look at our complicated logistical supply chains. Praise our supply chains. That's the view I got.
I mean,
think
I am interested if this supply chain actually exists. Like, do Morrison's get their wheat from this farmer? Is the flour milled by this dude here? Do they get
But-
their fish from this town here?
It
I'd
doesn't.
be
The
interested.
baker doesn't make sense though, because you would imagine anything hand baked like that would have been consumed within a month at most. Imagine making a cake. So then it sort of ruins the time continuity, in my opinion. This piece, do you know what I'm saying? The flower makes sense because it's like whatever flower harvested in August or whatever would be used in
but
December.
like as a visual cue, you look at that and it looks like Christmas.
Yeah, again, you're
so
right.
It's too much for me to be like, right, it's not actually Christmas, but he's got Christmas decorations up because it's Christmas all year round at Morrison's. That's why the girl's confused. It's just like, it's confusing. It's too confusing.
I think sort of treading a bit there on a bit of a theme for this year's adverts, that there's a sort of desperation that people are kind of desperate for some joy. So they kind of start living with it throughout the year.
Interesting. Yeah, it's very hard to convey a story in a short time an ad. I know because I've written for them and been in them, and they failed here. That's what happened. They didn't convey it.
Can we just go back to this family because they're again fascinating to me. Like, what are they doing? They're just sort of sitting around as a family, just
unenthusiastically
in silence. This is the most Star Wars Britain part of this advert. Can we just go from here?
Merry
Just sitting
Christmas.
around doing nothing.
It's because
Shall I
white
put
people
this
have
down
no
here then?
culture.
Yeah, just here's fine, pal. I'll get the rest.
Weird. It's just weird. I don't
Sitting in
get.
silence. There we go. Who is this family? What are they doing? Why are they so literally? Look at these. Like it's so. Look, there we go. There's the shot.
Is he on?
They're
Is he on a game? He's on a game.
No,
Like,
one's
he's
on the game, but the other four, like, I'm sorry,
playing
this
a
just
board
like this doesn't
game.
happen.
They're playing a board game.
Oh,
It's like the father's trying to summon their enthusiasm and they're not going for it.
Okay, maybe
That's
that's
how I
okay.
see it.
They're
fine.
playing a board game. I can't tell which is it. Is it Trivial Pursuit? What's that board game there?
Can't tell from here.
Can't really tell.
Again, this is just another depressing shot. I mean, they need to change. There's just no vitality or like life in these adverts anymore. Again, just look at the colors in there. What are the main ones? It's brown.
I think it's
brown is the
mid-century modern.
dominant color.
Mid-century modern, mate.
Joyless.
Exactly.
Again, though.
That's what I like about mid-century modern.
It's not Monopoly for the people in the chat. I couldn't make out what it was, but
It's
it
not
wasn't
Monopoly. It's something
No.
else, but I can't tell what. All right. Have we got? Oh, look, it's JD Sports. My favorite part of every Christmas.
That's
They're just lost. They're lost in their own worlds.
I'm Mario.
Where are you from?
Getting Manchester City results in a week, so.
Go, show them.
It's a group sport, man.
See, I'd love to become famous. If that's not a thing, probably just become a pharmacist. You can fail, you can make mistakes, but like, really, who cares?
Can I ask you a question, please?
I'm scared I don't know what to do with my life.
I'm worried that we're not going to be friends in 10 years.
We love you so much. Happy birthday.
Guys, we see each other every day.
What's up, big man?
This is it.
It's only your GCSEs, bro.
You're messing with me. I want to have fun. You get me? I want to have fun. Times are changing, you know. Like, you boomers you can't relate to us.
But I want to be the best I can
Because I want my brother to be like, yeah, that's my sister.
But like, I haven't changed myself to anybody.
I was ready for the next step. Yeah, you are.
I realised that we can't stop here.
Go. Where you going, fella? No Lambo today, no? But we leaving, man.
Look at it again. A gritty look into urban youth.
Two
UK,
words. UK
drill
aesthetic.
rap Britain. Drill rap Britain. Brought to you by JD Sports.
Is that Cole Palmer? It's pure UK aesthetics, and it says at the start it's the future, and there's no white people. I'm like, oh well, it's about demographic replacement in 2065.
There's something just so dark about the whole thing. I mean, okay, first interesting thing, like keep the forever forwards in
That is
your
Cole
mind.
Palmer, isn't it, from Chelsea? Carry on. Sorry.
But just notice the format. So obviously they've foregone the usual aspect ratio for the video, and they've gone for like a phone camera video. And so again, it's kind of like to try and connect with the youth. Then you've got this. The vehicle is this. We've given phones to 286 kids or whatever, which is obviously just total nonsense. Or like there's some celebrities in there, and obviously they'll have a whole lot of plants. and they're sort of using almost kind of like a found footage kind of style. You know, they got the phones back, and out of all of this footage, I mean, just imagine going through those 286 phones worth of footage to try and find clips. You know, that's a real descent into the hell itself. But you basically have a series, again, of small vignettes about modern urban life and like what's it like to be a young person. But for example, stuff that's really fake to me is stuff like the GCSE results. Again, I just feel like that's a very like an adult talking to a child, like, this is what you care about at that age.
What's fake is that he passed. Sorry.
But and again, there's aspects of Christmas here as well. So you've got like there's Father Christmas, there's some tinsel, but it's not really a Christmas ad in the same kind of way. It's not about gifting, or it's not about family or connection. It's about focusing on the life of a young person as they see it. You know, again, there's something very dark and depressing about it, because it's kind of nothing ties back to anything familiar. This is all kind of like it all feels like distant and dislocated, not only from my personal self, but also kind of like Christmas traditions. Do you know what I'm saying? There is almost nothing Christmassy about it, apart from like a bit of tinsel or some lights on a car. It's also
even
really
a Christmas ad. I thought I saw this ad earlier in the year. It definitely is.
No, it's a Christmas ad. There's a Santa Claus. There's some tinsel in it, but it again shows that that whatever these people aren't connected with the traditions of the past. And I think again it's interesting, because do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were plugged into all of the other stuff that you've seen, it would be about family and whatever. It's more of the kind of Tesco's things. But these kids just don't celebrate Christmas in the way that native Britons do.
He's not even in the UK, this one.
Yeah, they're all open on Christmas Day in their shops. These people. Look at the signs of Chinese, aren't they? That's Whitechapel, mate.
Maybe it's protesters or whatever. I believe that's London easily.
What? I'm pretty sure he was in Wu-Tang Clan.
That's down the road from me. See, if I want to see this ad, I just leave the house and walk to Sainsbury's, and I see all of these characters.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely like a little London scene. Also, some of the little, you can hear some of the dialogue, and it's interesting. One guy was like, "Oh, I'd love to be famous, and if I couldn't be, I'll be a pharmacist." And I thought that was one of the most interesting points, because that is again such an attitude to the New Britain, which is a worship of cult and celebrity and status and money. But most people can't get that, so I end up compromising and having this kind of half-life, low productivity job, doing what my parents tell me to, or just trying to find a job somewhere. Oh look, there's Chunks.
Yeah, but I was about to say, isn't he famous? Isn't that Chunks from a couple of years back when he
burst
through the door? It's like facial recognition. Where I recognised him.
Family Pharmacist also very Asian coded, isn't it? Yeah, well, Cole Palmer's in it as well as a famous footballer. So they've stuck a few.
Is she famous, or is she just a random girl?
Don't know.
Look at this. I mean, sorry, her eyes were so sad there. I just feel like, she's stuck in the advert. It's a little bit better there.
Well, that's relevant, because this is something I came across earlier this year. It's an editing style called core, as in CORE, core. And it's a kind of viral aesthetic that sort of took off on places like TikTok, where you've got very fast, jagged editing, very chaotic, no kind of narrative, but it often is about savoring kind of melancholy or anxious emotion, or energetic emotion, cathartic emotion. And it's this kind of peak, kind of Zoomer sort of communication style.
What fashion is this that we're looking at here?
JD Sports fashion. This is like urban. You'd say urban streetwear is what you'd class it as. But I think it's interesting, because a lot of these guys aren't even Christian. Like a large proportion will be Muslim, etc. Like Chunks, for example, Somali Muslim. How do you market like Christmas time to that new demographic? Well, you do something like this, which doesn't really reference Christmas time.
I think JD Sports are working in conjunction with the Home Office, and this is just to get loads of people deported.
Weird advert.
It's very strange and very depressing at the same time. This
It
guy's
was-
also hilarious.
They were saying things like, "Oh, times are changing. We're not like you," and all that stuff, all the way through the advert as well. Like there were little snippets of them saying that as well. Anyway,
Yeah, as if we didn't know. Yeah, just can't
dark,
confirm.
depressing advert. Oh, Asda.
Do it.
Why? Now I've noticed that McDonald's have got the Grinch this year. Is there a Grinch film out, or
It isn't. I think again, it's really interesting that the Grinch has supplanted Santa Claus this year in terms of screen time and coverage. That is the figure of Christmas time. It is the curmudgeon, the depressed, the evil, the hateful, as opposed to the jolly gift giver. This is again the part of this. I swear, in the last year, we've just entered into a new paradigm or a new cultural decade, and this is one of the symbolic shifts. We've seen the Grinch referenced, or like grumpiness at Christmas time referenced way more than the jollity and the happiness of Christmas. Also, that was a picture of you at the beginning, wasn't it, AA? This is AA the Grinch going around, being tugged on the shoulder by a AAA.
I was actually at a Christmas parade last Friday, was it? Something like that. So I was actually in a scene like this. It was actually like
exactly.
It was actually a parade, and I bumped into a girl from Pickleball, and she said, "Oh, you look different." And I said, "Yeah, here's my daughter." So that happened. Anyway, let's carry on.
Are they taking the... Oh, the prices this year are frightful. Spending gifts, I've seen a sightful. We're getting quite low on dough. Excuse me. It's a no. It's a no. It's a... Ooh.
I mean, have they all had a memo, the advertising people, like, look, people are hard up. There isn't that much kind of expendable income at the moment. Economy's on a downturn, so we have to kind of like inject a bit of the depressing realism into all the adverts. Is that?
No, I'm a strong believer in whatever the zeitgeist being real, or like an artistic and spiritual force flowing through a nation at any time, and or you can describe it as a mood or a vibe or whatever you want to. But I'm almost certain that it is a general malaise that people are feeling, and they're putting into their artistic work. Like advertising is still an art form. It is the most base and rank and utilitarian of all of the art forms that exist, but it is still an art. And I like artists are kind of like lightning rods for the mood of a nation, and they're absorbing all of the disgusting miasma of modern Britain and putting it into this work. One thing I would say about Asda, interestingly, is that they fired their old agency after do you remember the black Italian gnome of last year?
That was dire. That was dire.
They literally sacked their agency after that moment. I think they're doing this one in-house.
Because of us, Pharaoh. Because of the impact of our review. That's what happened. Because didn't we call for it? Didn't we say whoever made this should be fired?
We did.
Well, we should start getting them suggestions for this year as well. Everyone should be fired except John Lewis' team.
John Lewis director needs to be signed up to a major studio to make the next Star Wars.
Everyone else shit can them now. Just another quick thing though, on your point. I think the memo has gone round, or subliminally, as you say, Pro. It's set for the Indian family, just nakedly, tastelessly aspirational, with all the Lego acing all the maths competitions.
Yeah.
Nice colour. Oh, my worry show signs are stopping. Wait, am I enjoying shopping? With prices rolled back down low. Here we go, here we go, here we go! Well, we get it all home tonight. Oh, it's all gonna go down a treat. And to you lot who called me tight, look what we brought you to eat!
So Dad doesn't have a lot of money, but he's happy because the prices in Asda are cheap.
Well, yeah, I
Like
think the idea is that, like,
Grinch
again,
is cheered up.
it's a the cost of living crisis is squeezing his pockets, so he's refusing to buy like all the frivolities. There was something interesting there as well about the scene where there's the Christmas market, which is as debased as it is, one of the last representations of like Christmas tradition in the Victorian sense. And all of that is like, oh, it's too pricey. All of that is just, you know, it's hateful. And then like a city on the hill, Asda, you know, it's like, what's this? We're worshipping a slop tier supermarket now over all of these traditions around you. Well, the child pointing there, the child pointing.
That's
exactly.
Asda he's seen. He's in a Christmas market and he's seen Asda.
Exactly.
Oh,
the temple of Mammon sits on the hill, and he sort of bows down and worship to it, despising everything else around him. I know. I find it a very sick sentiment.
Yeah,
I can't get over that.
Oh my God, it's so dark. Go on.
The one thing you haven't noticed is the racism against me, because this is a tight northern bloke. That's the stereotype here, and he's a poor, tight northern bloke, the Grinch. So I took it as just out and out racism against my people. Aiden's saying that she's researched this Grinch miserable Christmas trend in the chat. Apparently got a video coming out on it. It's quite interesting.
I will say that the Grinch's hair, you know, you said it's me. It's not a million miles away from my hair. My hair today is not as you'll see in my video later, my hair is a little bit like that today. So, in fairness.
With prices rolled back down low, here we go, here we go, here we go! Well, we get it all home tonight. Oh, it's all gonna go down a treat. And to you lot who called me tight, look what we brought you to eat! Oh, my Christmas each year is flying. My wallet's no longer crying.
Again, I really think that we've changed from that the woke setup, which is interracial family, to white family plus extras in the background. So again, if you see that shot for the table laid out again, it was a predominantly white family and then just some random black people thrown in on the side. You know, this is it. So strictly speaking, they've ticked the box that they've got 5% of the airtime goes to black people now.
I'm pretty sure that's former Wimbledon striker Jason Ewell. I'm not even kidding. It looks just like him. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, they're like a relish. You're saying they're like the cranberry sauce. They're just a little relish no one necessarily even needs or wants.
That's how I think they're trying to deal with the Pochin putting a light on the situation, which is fine. We're going to dump the interracial couple as the headliner, but we'll still have the multicultural scene, but for a much smaller percentage of time. That's their new workaround.
Although it went quite badly when Pochin said that, didn't it? So in a way, they could have just doubled down.
Can I ask a question? Because I've always, like, every year we've done this. Like in my family or in any of the family things I've been to as like the partner of various wives and girlfriends, blah, blah, blah. This has never happened in my life where you do a Christmas and there are random friends. It's just usually like a family only affair. So there isn't this thing where, oh yeah, we know this other family and they're coming over for Christmas too. I've never seen that. Do any of you guys ever do that thing where
families have invited me over because my Christmas is so sad, but I thought it would be too much of an insult to my own family, so I haven't gone. So no, I've never seen it.
I would say, can you see there is a mixed race girl in the background? So I wonder whether the implication is that whatever, she is part of the family. So I don't think it's that far off. But just as a thought, you know, one of your ideas is the return to Fresh Prince. I think in some ways this is the new return to Fresh Prince. But Fresh Prince was basically kind of like, you know, black and white working together in harmony. I think it's a much more subtle version where it's kind of like you're just part of the family, you're part of the background furniture. It's not trying to draw attention to it or to say,
it's so normal.
Yeah, exactly. What's more normal than having, you know, just some
Two
random
ginger
diverse
people,
people part of the family.
a black, yeah. What's more normal than two ginger white people, a sort of mixed race person, two black people, some sort of Asian woman in the foreground? This is the most absurd. Like, what is this?
I think.
And a
So I was
green
gonna say-
bloke. Sorry.
Go on.
I finished. That was just. It's just
No,
nonsense.
yeah. I was going to say something.
Oh well, I was just going to say. I mean, again, it relates to Jason Newell. Apparently, it's not Jason Newell, but Robbie Earl. And I was thinking, yeah, it actually is Robbie Earl. And if I just show you Robbie Earl, tell me that's not him. That is Robbie Earl. That guy. Look, there's Robbie Earl. Right? Remember Robbie Earl?
I just disavow this just terribly racist behavior.
It's
from
not.
AA right
It's
now.
Robbie Earl.
Each year is
Oh, anyway, go on.
I want to hear what Simon has to say.
I was just agreeing with what Ferro was saying there. They are shifting back to a sort of, family collectivity. Do you remember the advert? I think it was last year, where you had all the kind of singletons in the kind of £5 million house in Notting Hill with, Hannah, Big Jaw woman, all kind of, friends of the new family. But this is a way. I mean, you look at that composition there. That's pure kind of Norman Rockwell. Yeah, everybody at the Feast of Plenty, and as Ferro says, not making really much of an issue about the kind of, a blended peer group composition.
It's not celebrating it, but conversely, it's not damning it either. It's just like, oh, it's here. This is the new normal now, I think, and I wonder whether this is the new post-woke world we're going to be living in, and the messaging is going to be like this.
Robbie Earl, as does Christmas.
I'm desperate to get to the end of this ad, even though the insights have been good. But I'm just like, I also want to see if the Grinch transforms, if he gets so untight that he transforms physically, or if he just stays as the Grinch. That's what I'm waiting to see. Because I haven't actually understood why he can't just be a northern bloke, and why he even has to be the Grinch.
Again, is this part of the sort of thing we saw last year, Ferro, with supermarkets are sort of annexing a known franchise? Like, wasn't there sort of a Will Ferrell Elf kind of advert, where they cut in bits of him?
Asda did that 2 years ago. So
Right.
you're right. The thing is, they want to do a tie-in with some of the products. Did you see they were selling the clothes with their George range? So I bet that's one of the reasons why they did it as well. So
Okay, let's carry on.
Oh, my Christmas each year is flying. My wallet's no longer crying. Ooh, watch us put on a show. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Did he change, as I say, or was that a different person?
he did change. He
So I
he
predicted
lost
that.
his beer gut from the first shot, and his wife started
he would
looking at him
change,
again.
but it was shot so badly it didn't really work.
Yeah.
But maybe I just missed it. Yeah, he could have just. I guess that's why he had to be the Grinch, but I don't know. It didn't really work.
There's a few. I mean, there's quite a few more. Shall we pick which ones we want? I mean, there's Smythes, there's Waitrose.
Go
there's
for
the
Waitrose, I would say.
Nintendo's-
the Waitrose is good.
Nintendo's
That's quite
Switch.
meaty.
Let's
Yeah,
do the
Nintendo and
Waitrose.
Waitrose then.
Nintendo and Waitrose. We have to get to those at the very least. Okay. Amazon's usually interesting too. All right.
Come on, Phil. It's time to move on. It's what Shelley would have wanted.
Well, Shell said the only person I could move on with was Keira Knightley. So
Now, sorry to pause it already, but it wasn't this actor here in that film Submarine that we have referenced several times already.
It's Joe Wilkinson. I said no. I've done one gig with him actually, but I haven't, so I don't know him.
It
But yeah, it's Joe.
wasn't Joe Wilkinson in the film Submarine?
Don't know, but I can check for you if you
Highly
want.
likely.
Please check. Yeah. Let's start again.
Pause. By the way, that pub is the new inn on Ham Common. AA may know it. They've done a bit of CGI on the scene, but yeah.
Nice. Also, I just want to say that this pub group, least likely pub group of all time, it's just me. Yeah.
Come on, Phil.
Okay.
It says he
It's me,
wasn't in Submarine.
the Gen Xer, hanging out with a middle-aged woman and my Asian friend. It's just a classic pub. Me and the gang down in the pub.
Well, to be fair, Joe Wilkinson's in comedy. That actually is the comedy world. They're the only ones that got the gig. He's the token white man who's still around or just good enough to get through, and the others are just like they've done 2 open mic spots and they go straight onto the roster.
What fashion is this on the right here? What is that?
What the woman?
It's new age. It's new age. Crouch End vibes.
Sort of alcoholic, never married.
It's time to move on. It's what Shelley would have wanted.
Well, Shell said the only person I could move on with was Keira Knightley, so...
Keira Knightley?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck with that, mate.
Women do say unfunny things.
Sussex Charmer, please.
I'm Keira.
I'm Keira. I'm Phil. Phil.
No one's ever done that.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Phil.
Yeah.
Pause. Can I just say he's a classic Gen X archetype that you see in the kind of London hipster scene, especially London, Sussex, Suffolk, home counties kind of area. You know, you've got sort of Neolithic farmer physiognomy, and then you've got callbacks to 70s television. You know, he's got the classic Tom Baker, Doctor Who scarf, duffel coat, you know, plaid shirt. He probably works in graphic design. Actually, I looked up Joe Wilkinson. He actually was a graphic designer for a bit as well, and he probably works at like a small independent record label. So it's kind of coded for that sort of Gen X set.
Keira Knightley. I know this is probably ridiculous because I'm just feeling, and you're obviously, but it's Christmas, so I was wondering if you'd consider.
I'd love to.
Oh.
Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
It's like a kind of grown-up version of those rom-coms starring Jesse Eisenberg from about 20 years ago, isn't it? Only they're old.
Even more Richard Curtis coded as well. It's totally, and he's actually said he thinks it's a great advert.
Tomorrow then. Phil?
Yeah, maybe.
Can't give up just because you've got competition, mate.
What could I possibly get at a Mark hasn't?
Why don't you cook for her?
I can't just cook for someone I love, Mum.
Cooking for someone is love, darling.
A Nan's turkey pie. Hi.
Hi.
I've made you something special to say.
Hey, Kiki, darling, is that the food delivery? Bit weird.
Sorry, Sorry. Why did I ever
Phil!
think that shit?
Phil! Phil! That was Mark. In the house. He's my brother.
Oh, Well, I've made lots of bits and pieces. Cranberry sauce, I did some Brussels sprouts.
I love you too.
Oh, mind the pie, Kira. Oh.
All very nice, but
no,
isn't it a little bit unrealistic, Pharaoh?
No, this is the thing. This is literally just like a wet dream for Gen Xers, just absolutely just losers like him, people that have just like lived their like half lives, and they see because like Kira's a millennial, isn't she? So she's kind of represents this younger woman in the whatever the archetypical Gen X life, and he's encountered her every day. But this is the dream of them getting together. But the reality is it will never happen because he is just a pathetic specimen of the human race. I mean, there's some interesting stuff in there from my perspective about some of like the social roles. For example, he's like constantly feminized at the beginning when they're getting together. You know, she knocks him over. There's a scene where she's literally wearing a tie. You know, she's literally wearing the trousers. He constantly acts in an effeminate way. He is the woman of that relationship still. Yeah, exactly. There we go. This is it. He is the woman of this relationship. And this
in fairness, Pharaoh, Keira Knightley did often dress like that. But go on. It's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah.
It's a bigger thing, but the whole thing is just like a fever dream or a fantasy. You know, saying that this could happen. But again, what is the actualization point? How do things come together? Well, it's through consummation, through the power of food, through being able to. If you buy our product, you will achieve your dreams. You will get with the young millennial girl in the office that you know, despite being a perennial loser. Do you know what I'm saying? It's an obvious fantasy. I hate it. I hate every single thing about it. And the production quality is so high as well. And I think it just doesn't really. It's not as smart like that. John Lewis does something similar in the sense that you buy product to actualize, but I think John Lewis is rooted on truth and the reality and a relationship that's achievable. While this is an unrealistic relationship, you're selling something there's no way it will happen. It doesn't matter how good a pie you buy for that young girl; she will never love you. You know.
Yeah.
You know what?
Although John Lewis
Absolutely
owned Waitrose, though, I should say.
They totally own them in this as well. I agree with everything Pharaoh said. The depressing thing is that in reality, it wouldn't happen. So you're left actually with that brutal reality sort of in the meta world outside of the ad. He's 50 years old, she's 40, which in real life, which makes it even more unrealistic. She did remind me of a very pretty posh girl I went out with, but the real story is you'd go out with a posh girl for a few weeks, she'd turn out to have borderline personality disorder. That would be like, or something like that, you know, and she wouldn't be Keira Knightley. I think Joe could just about go, because I've been in comedy and in that world, he's quite famous. He could definitely go out with a hot mental girl who like just likes comedians and stuff, but it wouldn't be Keira Knightley.
Was there a subtext in this, a very slight subtext that his friend there, the one on the right, her of the kooky fashion sense, may have had it in the back of your mind that maybe they might get together at some point, but now like Keira Knightley's in the picture, her dreams are faded.
Oh yeah.
And so like, is it crossing her mind?
She's the cock blocking best friend or the sort of archetype.
Is it crossing her mind that she might have to get with him?
I sometimes see that. I see she's kind of abandoned that kind of thing because she does that irritating thing at the beginning where she taps him on the shoulder and basically says, you know, you got no chance, mate. There's that kind of mate. Yeah, there's that kind of masculinized femininity where they call you mate deliberately.
What I'm saying is, Simon, her hopes and dreams are over. Maybe in the back of her mind she was thinking, but
this guy's a loser as well.
It could be us. It could be us.
Yeah.
And she's like, you'll never get with Keira Knightley. It could be us. But now it's dawning on her.
Negging
she
Knightley.
might end up with the Indian best friend. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreading it.
No, it's all in there.
The thing is, the whole thing is too developed as well. It's too complicated, and it just doesn't hit in the same way that John Lewis does. It's too cheesy. It's too schmaltzy. I mean, one thing I would say, just from a colouring perspective, I almost vomited in my mouth when they kissed. By the way, that was literally disgusting.
Yeah, that was. You felt like Kira was thinking, "How much am I getting paid for this?"
Not enough. There's not enough. not enough cash. Just color wise again, it's kind of interesting. I feel like they managed to achieve a cozy vibe, lots of kind of yellows and darker colors, but there was still a bit of a depressing malaise in all of the shots. I think so. Even in this total fantasy world, this is the most like unrealistic thing we've seen so far. The most made
Could
up.
it be though that somebody in the John Lewis as team has a artistic vision, and what they're actually doing is they're setting up for next year,
It's
where
very conscious.
you discover that Keira Knightley basically played with him for a week.
They are going to do.
He is borderline suicidal because he's had a glimpse into heaven.
Yeah.
And now he's back at the pub, and his two best mates have actually gone off with each other at this point as well. So now he's truly alone. And
He
that's
can't
like
go back to
Christmas
plain women. She was too hot.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
They're very consciously doing this. They have got a strategy I was reading about where they are wanting to do more long form content and lean into what they call food entertainment, where they do these what they call shareable moments like this. And I think actually this probably is getting a fair bit of cut through with the sort of sentimental Gen X kind of thing. I mean, that song by James that they're using. I mean, there's so many Gen X couples I know who sort of fell in love to James of all bands.
Yeah, that's why it's so perfect. But you know what? I'd like an advert where Keira Knightley comes along, but then he's sort of his head is turned, but then he actually either his ex-girlfriend or some sort of normal girl shows up, and in the end he prefers her. That would be a good message.
That would be a good. That's a genuine plot right there.
Yeah.
I was thinking that the guy is actually an ersatz for the creative director of this, who wishes he was that person. That's my
They all
idea.
look comedic actor again with this comedian.
Joe Wilkinson.
Joe Wilkinson. I'm actually now curious to see what his real life partner.
I think Farrah's right there. I mean, Keira Knightley was a big kind of fetish woman for a lot of Gen Xers I know. In this sort of media scene, I don't know why she's not my sort of type.
He is actually married, by the way.
Yeah.
And there's a article called this quiet power behind Joe Wilkinson, and her name is Petra Exton, and I'll show you a picture of his actual wife.
Oh dear!
Don't be cruel.
Ham Planet. Oh, there we go. I knew it.
Right, so it's like, well,
the architect.
That's more in line with reality because that's his actual wife in real life. So.
There we go. But this is it. It's a very strange, perverse delusion to appeal to Gen Xers.
But now she has to live with the Keira Knightley advert in her actual life.
I really didn't like that at all. And and Kira's married as well with a kid. And imagine growing up as a kid and seeing your mum kiss that beardy old loser. Do you know what I'm saying? That would definitely cause problems.
I reckon her ex photo is nicer than that photo. Hold on. Here's another. Here, like there, she looks all right there.
There is a thing with Gen Xers where they're kind of aspirational in the way that the lifestyle on this ad shows. I mean, the interesting point about that house is the same one they filmed the Burberry advert in. It's a £3 million Queen Anne house
What's
on
the
Ham
exact
Common.
same house, is it?
It's the same one. It's on Ham Common. You'll know it. There's a big kind of triangular bit down there, and it's one of the houses there that they use for filming specifically. But the sort of aspirational thing with Gen Xers, there's friends of mine who sort of worked in the media. They kind of want to be invested with sincerity, and they want to be kind of dematerialist. But that's because they can afford to be. They can enjoy lifestyles very similar to this, but they kind of disavow it at the same time because it's not kind of authentic. But so they can enjoy the coziness in a way that you can't. And that's why they use this kind of nostalgia mode of referring it back to Richard Curtis rom-coms, where it's just about the sort of the sentimentality of that time, especially in the 90s.
Right, guys, I'm really sorry. I gotta drop off now, but thank you very much, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. So
Merry Christmas,
don't get too depressed. Spend some time with your family, this Christmas. Switch the TV off, and just get some genuine Christmas joy and spirit, and don't get too depressed, guys. I'll see you later.
Here.
Well, thank you very much, Pharaoh.
Happy Christmas.
So why don't we wrap up then and just give out our best and worst ads. The best one has to be John Lewis, doesn't it? By a mile. It was John Lewis.
John Lewis was the best, yeah.
And the
I'm torn
worst?
between that and the Waitrose one, because although I know it's more kind of sickly in a way, but the level of craft that went into it actually was quite interesting.
What was the
But,
Waitrose?
yeah, the John Lewis is definitely the strong one.
What was the Waitrose one again?
That one we just watched.
Oh, that was the Waitrose one. Just
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I see, right.
So it's just another arm of the same beast, you know.
And for worse,
Oh.
they were all bad, weren't they?
The Debenhams one, it was just cheap, you know.
Yeah.
The kind of parade of products on the street.
What was the awful one where they were all really
Crouch.
depressed? Was that Tesco?
Tesco.
Tesco the worst, because it was all about
That
how
was the families fighting. No, was it the Asda one? No, not the Asda.
Tesco was the families
Asda.
fighting.
Which one? I think it was the
There was
Asda
at least a
one,
bit of
wasn't
artistry in the Tesco one.
No, Tesco, because Tesco said Christmas is about horrible.
it? No,
nights.
Morrison's. Morrison's was the one with the unenthusiastic game-playing family. Is that the one? The depressed people.
Well, what the hell was
No,
Tesco then?
we're talking about the count. You know, the guys playing charades and the awkward photograph. And
That's Tesco. That's
That's
Tesco.
Tesco, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's the one I'm
Oh,
saying
I
as
thought,
well.
right, okay. Oh, I thought
there was
they
at least stuff to
pushing.
discuss there, though. Some of them were
Yeah.
really like the McDonald's AI one was terrible.
Well, that was also bad. The Keira Knightley one, in a way, was awful. I don't know. I'm just depressed. Also, someone said I talk too much, so I was about to just go anyway, just to say fuck you to that person, because I think I've not spoken that much. Watch the Adam Curtis ones if you want me not speaking for 3 hours. But I thought I've got to contribute something, and I thought Farrell was doing long pieces, and Simon wasn't talking as much as normal. But people say stuff like that. I'm just like, fuck you. I'll just not do these things. So anyway, luckily it ended, so I didn't have to just leave anyway, which I would have done.
But there are a couple of just a handful of super chats. We might as well do them. Coney said, "What's the matter with Jamiroquai?" The trouble is with all of the '90s songs is that I've heard them thousands of times. You got to like Virtual Insanity. I've probably heard 2,000 times in my life, and it's so much of the '90s stuff doesn't like it takes me back there, but it doesn't hold up in a way that a lot of the '80s stuff did. And I thought a lot of the '80s stuff holds up, and it's kind of maybe it's been long enough to come across as fresh and new, whereas the '90s stuff really, whether it's obnoxious or it's played out or it's tired or so. My 100 picks largely avoid all of the obvious ones that would be on any '90s playlist, and Jamiroquai is squarely in there, I'm afraid. Coney also says something that got missed last week is that Jaguar sacked its design boss. If you think that woke is still being put away at this point, I got a bridge to sell Everglades to sell to you. But didn't Jaguar have a woke design?
They had that pink kind of car and that terrible ad
And
campaign.
I think he
all
may
the-
have said, if you don't think woke is still being put away, maybe that's what he thought. Coney says, Pharaoh, I asked AA a week ago why he was against the notion of creating a scene to affect disaffected cultural elites. He said it just leads to dilettantism and the movement loses its purpose. What say you? How would you prevent this from happening? Well, unfortunately, Pharaoh's had to go. So I don't know if any of you two have any views on that, but
Didn't quite understand what was being said.
well, like like the scene, like kind of. My contention is that it has to be its own thing. It can't be like an add-on to politics or something like that. It's kind of its own. It's either a political thing or it's a cultural thing. If you try to make it an add-on, all that happens is that
You just make bad art.
Yeah, or either you make bad art, or the political vitality loses its central message, and the scene just gets filled up with arseholes and things like this. Coney says, I wonder if JD Sports has lived up to its reputation as being the master of Croydon verite, like with last year's advert. Wasn't quite as good as last year's advert, the JD Sports effort. It was still had, some kind of fly on the wall aspect, but I felt that they inserted a few too many celebrities into the mix, so it didn't really come across as as authentic as it might have done. Sensible Centre says, I wonder what the figures of people being put off by woke adverts and how that affects the advertisers now. I will not buy if woke. Matt says, yeah, I wonder that as well. I mean, but personally, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't have seen half these adverts. I don't really watch adverts anymore. I don't know about you guys, but
no.
Matt
I only
says,
see them if they're trending on Twitter as a thing. People saying this advert is awful or this advert is slightly less woke. That's the only time I'll ever see it.
or sometimes on YouTube they force you to watch ads. You can't skip them. Sometimes like that. Matt says, if anyone watched or has seen soaps, Corrie, EastEnders, they are all filmed on dark sets. The little advert reminds me of the dark mood that we're in now. A lot of the adverts were kind of noticeably depressing this year, I would say. Like they went for a grim Christmas, basically. Mr. Theo Tugboat says, I love the Christmas streams. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you, sir. Iltheus says, it helps to view the blended families as entirely a relic of the 2010s. The top hats in 1819 Victorian England. It's like a kind of a status symbol, Simon. What do you think? A kind of, if you're a blended family, it's the equivalent of wearing a top hat, something like that.
Unsure.
Is that true in real life, though? I mean, I feel like the only truly mixed families I see are is getting on for Waynetta slob type. You see it at that end. In my experience, anyway.
Feels like an element of misfortune rather than.
I think he means in the adverts they've become now a 2010
status symbol, something like that. And Piotr 98. Yeah, go on, Simon.
I was just going to say, I think that was the thing that came out last year, that it was the theme of trying to do, hyper normalizing it, if you like, of making it kind of unremarkable, whereas in previous years it had been provocative and framed as provocative as well.
Yeah. And Peyorta 1986 says, garbage adverts, absolutely dismal. Cannot wait for next year.
Classic. Yeah.
So
I agree. And to the person, some people saying that person was joking. Well, if they were, I apologize for my outburst. Just wanted to add that. Happy Christmas.
Nick is sensitive. He's a sensitive young man.
Can I just address the question that's floating in the chat about the year music died? I've seen someone said it died at 1985. And this has been a kind of theme of discussions about, cultural stasis. Did it die 25 years ago? Was it as far back as the mid 80s? Because this is about your struggle with 90s music, AA. I wonder how much the cultural kind of, congealing set in the 90s.
What
90s was great. Ben Folds 5. Sorry.
What I'll say is this. The 90s does have lots of good music, right? It's not like the 90s were shitty across the board. The difference is that in the 80s, the interesting stuff was also happening at the top of the charts. Well, there was a lot of interesting stuff happening at the top of the chart, at least in the early 80s and the mid 80s. In the 90s, the interesting stuff was happening in specific scenes, within underground dance music or within rap or within, various indie or metal scenes and things like that. And the top of the charts became shite. That's basically the difference, I would say. There was still, it depends on where you fall on hip hop and Brit pop and things like that. And lots of the songs I've picked did actually chart, or they were in the top 40 at the very least. But the trouble is that if you lived through the era, so many of those songs were saturated and overplayed. Like somebody asked me if I was going to put on Bittersweet Symphony. The trouble is I watched that song like literally 1,000 times on a VH1 or on adverts or on and all of the Britpop songs were played into the ground, all the Pulp ones, the James Sit Down. So it's like they're very played out to my ears. I don't know if you feel the same, Nick.
It was more like they were beating the new regime into you with those songs as well.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
And that's a perfect example, Bittersweet Symphony, of a song I could barely sit through for the reason you said. It's not actually the greatest song anyway, and then they played it so much. You'd rather listen to Sonnet. Even Drugs Don't Work, though, that was also massively played.
I'll be honest, a lot of the stuff that I had reasonably fond memories of actually is not like, right, Big Beat. Do you remember that was a thing? Like Fatboy Slim and Chemical Brothers, and I thought, well, look, I'll put on a few of these. They probably still slap, but after like a minute or 2 minutes, you're like, do I really want to sit through this? Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's there's an element to which, I mean, maybe those things will come back and come exciting again. Like maybe like some of those 80 songs like started being fresh again. But to my ears, as somebody who lived through the period, a lot of it is very played out or is kind of eye rolling and I mean, like Alanis Morissette, I can't even bear to even think about listening to it. Or what was that song? What If God Was One of Us? I mean, that was on Atlantic 252 every single hour for about 10 years. Do you know what I mean?
At least that's a banger. I could still listen to something like You've Already Won Me Over or You Live, You Learn, or one of those nice ones that's still good. But I know what you mean. Or One Hand in My Pocket is still good. I know what you mean, though. Fatboy Slim is the worst one for me. It comes on in the gym, and I can barely tolerate it. Like the Funk Soul Brother, I Want to Kill Myself. I hated it then, and it's so overplayed, and it was never actually good.
It's just not that interesting once you've heard a few of them as well. And a lot of the big kind of club bangers were in that vein. So a lot of this list is me trying to like find things that still sound like. One of the ones, do you remember that song Epic by Faith No More? I'd be like, that actually now sounds kind of good again to me. So that's been one of my picks because it feels like it wasn't played into the ground. You know what I mean? Whereas a lot I liked Killer, you know, a Seal
Solitary Brother.
Yeah, I mean that song is better than you remember it, but a lot of the songs that you do remember are shite, seriously. So
well, I hope it's like 90% Ben Folds 5, to be honest, if it's 90s.
I put one Ben Folds 5 song in, and Grok, you remember I said it gave 9.7. I said, go on, be brutally honest, what's the problem? And Grok said, the Ben Folds 5 is a little bit twee compared to the rest of the list. It's a bit mid, said Grok.
What?
I said, yeah. And I was telling Grok, critique this like a sardonic academic and be brutally honest. So this was even after I put all those filters in. It was still giving the list 9.7, but it didn't like Ben Folds 5 in the list. So there we are.
It's absurd to say twee. I mean, the extraordinary musicians, and I saw them live in 1999. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? If you watch them, even now, if you look at their live performance of Philosophy or something at the time, that is extremely high level. The idea that that's twee is ridiculous. But anyway, so up yours.
So anyway, yeah, I've chosen the Adamski version of Killer, and what happened is that Seal, who was living in a flat alone, almost penniless, did the vocals on that song, and then like within a year he was doing the Batman soundtrack, and he brought out Killer. He re-recorded Killer and did it again, but I've chosen the original version because I think it's slightly better. So.
Yeah, I never understood why he did that again, so that's good to know. He thought when he wrote "Kissed by a Rose," he didn't think it was all that, and he recorded it quite a lot later. I think he wrote it in the 80s or something. Like he wrote it way earlier. Yeah, and he didn't think it was a big deal. It's like, what are you thinking, Seal? That's an absolute banger.
It's kind of weird because, like in my mind, Seal doesn't have like club cred, but apparently he does. So there we are. So anyway, there we go. That's something to discuss. I don't know when I'm going to start rolling those out because I'm busy and all that. But when I get a chance, I will. They'll start dropping on Twitter every day, and somebody will make a Spotify list, I'm sure. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us, Nick. What have you got in the pipeline, Nick, in your post-GB Newsline?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got my podcast coming out today at 5 for those that like me talking, which isn't everyone. That'll be the Fuentes when we go through all that. Fuentes and Morgan. I do Lotus Eaters these days as well, but mainly I'm on nickdixon.net, my Substack, and my YouTube, Nick Dixon. But I need to decide what to do. I'm probably going to do a new podcast with Reverend Dr. Jamie Franklin, but it might not be your thing because you're not a fan of theology, and it might get a bit like that. I'm sort of deciding which way to go after my GB News contract only ended yesterday. So I haven't been plunged into the cruel reality of Starmer's Britain yet, where I don't have any money. So I haven't yet to decide which way I'm going to go, but it'll all be on my YouTube and stuff.
Simon, anything forthcoming?
I'll still be on Twitter at Simon__Roberts. I'm just quietly planning my next move. Hopefully I'll do a bit more of my own streaming next year on my channel about culture.
Last minute, Anti-Slop Dengism says thoughts on 90s Jungle. Mark Fisher was a big fan. I haven't put too much Jungle on the list. Grok kept on saying, what about Ronnie Size Represent? I was like, well,
Oh yeah.
You know, but there's definitely songs with kind of drum and bass elements and a bit of jungle and so on.
Ronnie
It's like a kind of
Sides,
tour. It's like a kind of tour through like an underground club with a couple of mainstream tracks thrown in and a ton of rap at the end, basically. So
he's in my mind, Ronnie Size, as a kind of in a draw with like Aphex Twin. I know it's not the same exact music, but just in that era, isn't it? Of like Ronnie Size was like a massive deal, but I haven't thought about him for like 30 years.
yeah, exactly. And then there's a lot of acts like that where it's kind of like, and there's a ton of songs where you remember the song but you don't know who it was by and stuff like that. So I've tried to like do my best to recreate the era without anything being soul crushingly overplayed, which is actually a harder needle to thread than it sounds. But I think I've just about got there.
I think that was Fisher's interest in jungle. He was looking for kind of a music of radical political expression. He hated Britpop, which he saw as all kind of, regurge of the 60s. So that was his
All
reason.
right, chaps. Well, my Fuentes review is about to start, so that'll air in 5 minutes. So everybody catch that. And we'll be back next week for more Adam Curtis. Thanks a lot to Pharaoh and friends. It was all quite depressing, really, wasn't it, this year?
Some good bands, though.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye, everyone. The
Merry
Cahiva
Christmas.
was disappointing too. It's not all that. All right, bye all.
What goes on in this town is none of your business.
As long as I'm living here, it is.
Then maybe you shouldn't be living here!
Well, that's easily fixed.